What did mine come with? Gold, classic. Did they call it a pro?
Wii Pro controller, I think. Wii Classic Pro controller, I
Yeah.
believe it's called. It's definitely a Pro in there because it came
Wii
with
Classic
the.
Controller Pro.
That is the first time I've ever gotten the notification from YouTube.
I still didn't get one.
They're stepping up the game. They're trying to win you over,
They're
Brent.
trying to out Twitch. All right, this says it's the GoldenEye limited edition from Best Buy.
You called it.
Yeah, but I know I didn't buy it. I don't think I own that. I don't own that version of GoldenEye. I must have seen it at GameStop somewhere. All right, there's the Twitch notification.
You stole it.
Are you following on YouTube, Brant? Is that how it came up?
I've been. I haven't changed anything with YouTube, and I got that one first.
I think I am too.
Oh, God. It's the only bad thing about having like 6 monitors. I lost the mouse somewhere. Here it is. All right.
Lock your screen and do the dance. See if you find it.
Just make it comically large.
It's gone forever in the abyss.
New Xbox titles going up. Y'all have any YouTube content creators where you like their content, but they do that stupid, they have like this shocked face or whatever for their thumbnail, and it just pisses you off?
Every VTuber one I follow is always some lewd thumbnail.
Well, it's more entertaining than some shock face like, oh my god, I can't believe blank.
No,
I look at them like, that's so fucking stupid.
No, because they always make fun of it because they're always like, I'm sure you guys are going to clip it and just put somebody's mad and put a lewd picture on there, and that's usually what people do when they clip their stuff. So.
Somebody's mad and put a lewd picture.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Is it Friday yet?
Anything that gets people to click on the image, that's usually how it works.
I'm not drawn to these shock reaction videos and stupid stuff like that. That's not... I'm there because I know what I'm looking for. Is that the again, the low-hanging fruit? Is that what they're looking for?
I'm there because I need somebody to help me fix my car engine.
And it's a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Teach me how to
today we're going to remove the camshaft.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm reading negative comments in that thing. Like, how dare you be better than me?
I'll show you where to put your camshaft. Damn 13-year-old mechanical genius.
Yeah, but like, damn you for doing better stuff than me. I don't know. I'll come up with a better comment later.
Now, most of the time, I think most of that shock reaction is just it's the latest kind of YouTube algorithm trend. It's the latest clickbait thing.
Conflict. That's all it is. They look at it like, oh, somebody's pissed at something.
And they do that like overreaction face to like I guess get somebody maybe just interested in it. But I mean, most of the time, if you're already watching a creator's content, you don't pay too much attention to the thumbnail. You pay attention because you like the creator. You're there for what they have to say.
Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain.
You see, they have a new video,
face
and then you just read the title. Yeah.
God, that's a bright panel. Shit.
I don't know, man. I don't. I'm sorry, guys. I just watch VTubers on YouTube. I don't watch anybody else, so I don't know. This is all news to me.
All right, there we are. Yeah, we're good.
There was something I watched today, and I was just looking because I was like, does he do that? And I looked, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he kind of does. He does make stupid faces.
Who is this one? I'm specifically that RGT 85 guy or something like that, which I'm not. I mean, he's got thousands of followers. It is what it is, but he's always got some weird face in the thumbnail. Like, come on, dude, just you've already got your caption.
Have you seen a YouTuber called Beat 'em Ups? He's my age. He's got like long hair, but he did a
careful.
He did a video today.
Careful.
It's longer than yours, way longer than yours. But he did a video today about like how Nintendo basically forgot about Zelda's 35th, and basically he's like, well, I guess it's up to me to kind of commemorate Zelda's 35th, and he pulled somebody else in. I've seen him in some of the recommended, but I've never watched his stuff. But they reacted to a bunch of like old Zelda commercials, and a lot of them were actually pretty cool.
See, that's neat. Yeah, watch that. Watch the weird rap and the Super Famicom Link to the Past dance.
No, Brent, somebody have already made that comment and said that the Steam Deck was doing more for the Zelda anniversary than the
Yes, pretty much.
That day will come, but I'm still not tired of the Steam Deck jokes.
Only one of these devices can play Ocarina of Time.
Only so this one has Joy-Con drift, and this one doesn't have Joy-Con drift. Winner. Those kill me. I love them. They will get old at some point, but right now they're going pretty strong. I also like the one from it's a movie with I think it's a Paul Anderson movie with Bill Murray and I don't remember who else, but it's like 4 people and it's like
oh god, yeah. That whatever that King's Festival photo with like Tilda Swinton and that weird kitty guy looks like Harry Styles or something like that. Then
it's like Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, and it's like these different styles and all this kind of stuff. Brant, I thought about doing one for the place where we work and saying, when you've been there 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, just the way these people look, the meme is pretty good. Yeah. I don't usually get into that stuff, but it's not too bad. All right, we ready to get going? That was a good opening.
Yeah.
Let's knock down this biatch. I actually played a pretty good bit of games. You played Skyward Sword?
It went into my Switch and I pressed buttons.
So not really.
For the tune of 4 hours.
Oh, you did play 4 hours worth.
What 2 special editions of a game do you have back there that's both
Oculus Strip?
Okay. I could just see PS4 and Switch.
This chair's about to go down.
The chair?
Came today, so I just threw it over there for now. It was like Strip. Could be Oculus Strip, or it could be Oculus Strip. Or,
it's like PetSmart. Is it PetSmart or PetSmart?
PetSmart?
I thought it was PetSmart.
Yeah. PetSmart. PetSmart? I don't know.
So I finally get to play the PSP game we never got, so I bought 2 of them.
At last.
Finally.
Double play.
I had to pull up the first feed because his what y'all were referring to was not in our OBS feed. All right, we got 4 people. Somebody join us on YouTube. Is that someone you know?
Yeah, thank you for.
It says Uno for the tubes. For the Twitches.
I see that too.
It looks like
Triforce.
I got a notification that says do something. And
do something. Where's the chat?
3 people.
The
Twitches.
I don't have the chat up either. I think I lost chat on the past couple. Do you know where it's at on Restream? Do you see it anywhere?
I don't remember. I've just been answering chat as they come through since last week. So.
On which field, though? Is it just YouTube or just Twitch when it comes through?
I'm doing them separately each.
Okay, cool.
Because I think Renee usually asks me something on YouTube, and then your coworker, she shows up on Twitch sometimes. So
you got it covered then, because I don't see either one on this. And I had that view for a minute, and I don't know where it's at. I can't remember. I'll find it later.
So, I usually just go up there and somebody asks something, I usually just respond. So
cool. Thank you for keeping track. All right.
Don't worry, man. If they follow me, I just clear out my browsing history on all my viewing devices, so I'm okay.
Where's Skype? All right, there we go. You all ready?
Yep.
What episode is this?
Just remember, if anything happens to me, I just want y'all to clean my browser history. That's all I need. Everything else, I don't care about.
Don't resuscitate him. We still might be able to bring him back. Just go clear the browser history.
I would literally
just the browser history.
My last words to you as I breathe, it would be clear the browser history.
I don't have to pry the hard drive.
Clear the browser history.
That's it. That's all we gotta do. And then Cesar's good. All right, here we go.
You would have found nothing anyway, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 168 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game podcast. Pretty good bit of news tonight, brought to you by Newsmaster Brant McKee. He may or may not be on the show. Tencent acquisition of Sumo Group. Who is Sumo and who is Tencent? Find out later. Netflix to start on mobile games. Switch up your game with Valve's new handheld. What is this? Does it drift? Do the Joy-Cons drift? Your new Tom Clancy game? ? Nintendo adds more games to its online service. I cannot wait to be playing Earthbound and Super Mario RPG, because I'm sure that's what they are. And we have your late July Game Pass games. I'm Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
Hello.
And Cesar Concepcion the second.
It's got very intimate all of a sudden. I'm here.
I was like, okay.
Hello there.
Cesar's thinking, is it just Richard and Brant? Where do we go from here? Do I need...
I was gonna just log off. I was like, well, not this week, I guess.
Everything's fine here. You guys continue.
No, Cesar, you have your part to play, sir.
Oh,
I want you here.
I would have hung up and opened up another tab and started watching something else. I would have been like, oh.
Brent said, I want you here. Hello. I want you here.
I'm still debating whether I should drop off this call or not, so.
Stay with us. Oh, Cesar, are you still drinking the Coke with coffee?
Yeah, it's usually my go-to drink.
They are 2 for $4 right now at the
to
Kroger's, I saw. Delayed Crojets.
Which one? The fancy ones?
I think it's all of them, right? When the ad goes up.
No, their Publix has them for like 2 for $3 or something.
Oh, that's better. Much better.
Like $1.50 each. Yeah. Because I went to Publix today and was like, oh, and I threw a couple in the basket because it was not planned. I was there for other things. A couple in the basket. I said that out loud in the aisle. I was like, oh. And then went
and then everybody comes. They're like, oh, Cesar announced that the Cokes were there. Oh.
Somebody's making a big deal over here. Let me just throw this stuff in there, too.
Does it taste good? We don't know. Did I get the diet one? Still not sure. Let's throw it in the basket.
I don't know. That dude over there was pretty happy about it, so I decided to buy some, too.
He made guttural noises at the Coke with coffee. We've been doing, I know you're a fan of the cold brew. We've been doing... we've got a Takea, I think the brand is Takea cold brewer, and you load up like this nozzle thing in the middle of it. It's like a filter, and you sit it there for 24 hours with a certain amount of coffee, and then it just makes concentrate, which is what I think you've been getting and mixing. So we've had that thing for probably a year. We just finally started using it again, and I did not tell the missus. She requested decaf for me to make that as decaf, so that it could be like afternoon, evening, that sort of thing. She's way more caffeine sensitive than I am. So I did this, and it didn't... I'm operating under the understanding that we all know it's decaf. She makes it for her morning coffee and then has a headache later on in the day. And as I'm going through, like, what's off here? Like, what's different? I'm like, well, you had coffee. She's like, yeah, but I had the cold brew. I was like, well, it's decaf. And it's like... That's why. She's had no caffeine the whole day. I was like, where was the interruption here? What happened? What got lost in translation? You requested the decaf. I wouldn't have made decaf cold brew. You requested the decaf. I made it. Then you had it. And then now you have a headache because you haven't had any caffeine.
So you just did what was requested in chaos.
And it was wrong. Welcome to my life.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying chaos ensued.
Straight chaos. That's my chaos theory. Decaf cold brew coffee. We did it again, and we're still operating under the understanding, I think, that it's decaf, so we'll find out later.
Keep everybody guessing.
Yeah, you never know. You might be awake for 12 hours. You might go to sleep.
Because I was straight like, what is this shit? And I'll tell you instantly if it's decaf or not.
You can know off a taste?
Oh, yeah. Maybe. We'll find out.
Exactly.
We'll try it out.
Oh, shit talking.
Yeah. I'm all about talking.
Oh, you have to do the Pepsi
Russian
challenge
roulette.
with his coffee. It's cold brew coffee.
Well, I mean, Pepsi challenge is no challenge at all.
I know.
So.
I remember doing that in the stores, and it was like, really? And we live in the land of Cokes. Like, I know which one is which here. Bray, did you ever do the Pepsi challenge? Did you ever see that somewhere?
No, I never did
When
that.
was that? I feel like that was at the same Kmart I first played GameCube at. So that was like 2001 or 2002.
You didn't miss anything, Brandon. At the end, they'll just get you like, got you, bitch. It's RC Cola this whole time.
Oh, I know that one
That's
too.
extra regional. No, but they would give you a taste test. They would it would be a clear plastic cup, and they would give you a splash of Coke, and there would be a splash of Pepsi, and you decide which one you like the most. And it's supposed to be, this one's the best. Oh, that's the Pepsi one. But you can just, I drink way too much soda probably anyways. I especially did back then, but you can definitely tell trying either one. Like, okay, I know which one is which.
So just let you know, Skynet came into our chat and Twitch and wanted us to let us know if we want big followers and primes and viewers to go on this website.
Where do we go? Click it.
Ooh, click it.
Where do we go?
Click it.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, I'm clicking on that. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah.
Big, long, hard follows.
Click it.
Click it.
Yeah, big follows. It's not the big follows you thought it was.
Cesar, no, it says big fellows. Cesar, don't click for me.
No, I'm already there. It's too late. I'm seeing big fellows and some kind of lemon party
All
thing.
right, well, let them know.
Oh.
Let them know there's a video game podcast they could be tuning into and telling their friends about.
Yes.
Hopefully they'll put it on their website page so everybody can watch with us. So.
All right, let's get into
our podcast brings all the boys to the yard.
Whatever it takes. Come one, come all, come anyone. Come to our podcast. Get us affiliation for Twitch, for. What else do we need affiliation with? Ad support.
I don't know.
I'd be okay if ad support just paid our freaking SoundCloud dues. I know it's not that much, especially considering how much we put on there, but that would be nice.
I wonder if we should update our Twitter bio and just put on there with 4 weekly followers.
Just hashtag stuff and try to get randos and
4 weekly follows, watchers every week.
Be a shill. That's what apparently there's a documentary going around about influencers and things like that, and that's how they start off. They purchase these views and such. Yeah,
you'd be surprised. You'll be surprised how many people look at something like, why is this many people watching this, and then they'll jump in. So.
Or they get a boost. Maybe it would just be a matter of being on that platform one time or twice or 3 times or whatever it is it takes to be in front of that audience.
We still got we can still join the Facebook game streaming. So whatever they call it, Facebook Watch. I don't even remember what they call it anymore. Is it Facebook?
We're down
Watch?
To just Brant. Brant's gonna have to get us on Facebook.
I'm banned for life.
I don't even want to be on the thing.
Oh, I'm banned for life.
You don't exist to them. You're not even a real person.
Well, I gave them my driver's license. They said
they
no.
They denied him as a real person. He is a real person. They denied his personhood.
I don't know about this.
I was like, okay, sure.
I tried.
Banned for life. I don't care. I'll tell people I'm banned for life on Facebook. They're like, hey, you follow me on Facebook. Can't ban for life.
Then I message you and it's been like a week. You're like, oh yeah, they told me I don't exist, so we can't do that.
I'm not a real person. I'm freaking Pinocchio. I'm not a real boy.
Oh God, it'd be up to Brant, but Brant doesn't even want to be on Facebook. I still say we carve our own path without Zuckerberg.
Without the Zuck, yeah.
Without the Zuck. Have they shot him off in a penis-shaped rocket yet? Is it gone out?
Just the Bezos brothers.
I think the Zuck would get in a giant drill machine and just go to like the center of the earth, back to his home world.
I was watching live as the Bezos brothers were launching into space. As I was running on the treadmill, I was like, "Great, this is all that's on TV." And I was like, "I guess I'm watching this. There's nothing else for me to go."
Looks like Dr. Evil's rocket ship launching out of the volcano.
Yeah. And every time I see in the sky, I was like, "Man, that don't look right."
That is phallic as it ascends to the heavens. Oh, we're sending a dick to space and a rocket.
Yeah, I wonder if extraterrestrials are looking at us like, look at these guys.
They did it. It could have been breast. It could have been vaginal. They sent a penis. They strapped a man in a penis and sent it into space. And this is the one they chose. This is a representation for however long it's been since we had privatized. Or that's the first.
Space.
Well, the Virgin...
second.
The first one is Musk.
That's right.
He's the one that's been doing all the stuff for the U.S. government.
Yeah. Privatized spacecrafts. Speaking of purchasing things for large amounts of money, let's get into news. This comes from The Verge. Tencent is buying British game studio Sumo for $1.27 billion. Suddenly, the Super Mario 64 sale looks kind of trivial. I guess Tencent was selling some of their copies to fund this purchase. Sumo recently developed Sackboy for Sony and Crackdown for Microsoft. This article says Sumo Digital's had their hands in a bunch of stuff. I think they did that Mario or that Sonic All Stars Racing series, a couple of those. I can't believe they were the primary studio behind Crackdown 3. That still is mind-blowing. Sackboy: A Big Adventure was developed by them. That was in the lead. In 2017, Sumo released Snake Pass for multiple platforms, its first foray into original IP. I remember that being pretty good. Like, people were... I don't know if that was just like early Switch, we want to get a new game to play, but it had a soundtrack by either Grant Kirkhope or David Wise, so it had like it had the googly eyes on the snake, so it seemed to have the rare pedigree behind it, but it was a Sumo joint. Carl Cavers is Sumo's CEO, and he's quoted as saying Tencent has demonstrated its commitment to backing Sumo's client work as well as its own original IP, so things are unlikely to change too quickly. The buyout does, however, give Tencent yet another foothold in the international gaming industry following prominent investments in companies like Epic, Riot, Activision, and Ubisoft. It's not the only acquisition news from Tencent on Monday. Tencent's Teamy Studio Group, which makes the hugely popular Call of Duty Mobile and the upcoming strategy game Pokemon Unite, which came out today, I think, as of this recording.
Yes.
Announced that it is opening a development studio in Montreal, Canada. So Tencent continues to expand. They are the, Disney, ABC, ESPN of gaming at this point. If not the Embracer Group. Wait till they get the Embracer Group, then there'll be no players left.
Oh, Lord.
We chased away BigFalls.com. They finally left your cat.
they left.
They were there for a minute. They were like, maybe they might say something.
I think they helped along with development, not whoever Cesar was talking about that was in the chat. Sumo Digital. I think they were like a...
I was like, we're talking about Big Follows? I was like, damn, they're that big?
They were a support studio. Oh, they did Virtua Tennis World Tour for the PSP. I loved that version of Virtua Tennis.
Oh.
They did Outrun 2006, Coast to Coast. Super Rub-a-Dub for PlayStation 3, which I actually really, really enjoy. Oh, Cesar's got the Coke. It is the dark...
It's our product placement that we don't get paid for.
It's the dark blend. That's my favorite one. It matches your chair too, sir. They did Sega Superstars Tennis for the DS, PS2, Wii, PS3, and 360. Virtua Tennis 2009. Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. That's what I was trying to come up with. And then the sequel, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed for the Wii U exclusively. They did Little Big Planet 3. I don't think that one was very well received.
It was something.
Snake Pass, which was well received. Crackdown 3, which was not well received. Team Sonic Racing. Okay, so they have 3 Sonic Racing games under the belt, just not the Game Gear Sonic.
So if you look, every third game they make sucks.
That's the pattern.
Yeah, look at the Sonic Racing. That was like the third Sonic Racing was the Team Sonic Racing, right?
Yes.
Which is the weaker of the Sonic Racings. They can't make
that
threes.
One's not good. That third one's not good.
It's the worst one out of the 3. Wow. Yeah. Do not give them Half-Life 3. Do not give them Left 4 Dead 3. Do not give them anything with 3.
They got Little Big Planet 3, and it was not well received. I forgot that's a cross-gen title. That came out on PS3 and PS4. Crackdown 3. You're right, Cesar. You're onto something. But Sackboy Big Adventure. Give them the 4th. Don't give them the 3rd one. Give them the 4th one. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And they have made Hood, Outlaws, and Legends, which is being published by Focus Home Interactive.
Is it part 3 yet? Or is it the first one still? I know I don't buy 3 from Sumo, so no offense, Sumo. I'm sorry, guys.
3.
I don't make games, and that's a dick move, but whatever.
They ported Dead Space Ignition to the PS3 and Xbox 360. They ported...
Which was the 3rd Dead Space game. So Dead Space 3 came out.
Was that like the visual novel one, or was that the point-and-click one?
It's on-rail shooter. Yeah. That was on the Wii. That was like, hey, we can't give you Dead Space, so here's the next best thing, on-rail shooter.
Right. They did Disney Infinity 3.0. Don't give them the 3rd game. Hitman, they ported Hitman 1 and Hitman 2, but they didn't give them Hitman 3. Says the word is already out.
Their lesson.
IO cut him off after the
code. It just took me like 10 minutes, but I cracked the code. I know what's happening.
IO got rid of him. They were like, you did well in the first two, we're not giving you the third one.
We'll see you in part 4.
Oh shit. Sega Rally Online Arcade. Is that downloadable? Oh, it's released in Japan. Home version was released.
Yeah, Sega Rally, man. It's our fan favorite game over. Yeah, as I sing to you as you die.
Game
over. Yeah.
Sega Rally contains 3 racing modes. This is the episode of the 3s. All right, okay, that's Sumo Digital's thing. Who's got this Netflix story? Well, we wish them nothing but luck. It seems like when studios are bought, there's a lot of dread behind. I've been looking for that remote for 2 weeks. It's over there on the floor.
I'm glad you bring that up there. Yeah, you broke character, sir.
I was trying to play a Blu-ray Sunday, and I ended up having to hook up a PS3. Like, I had to go to this massive... I had 2 different Blu-ray players. I couldn't find the remote. I had to hook up a PS3.
Should have finished the fight. You're like, no, this bullshit. Just got in your car, drove down to Walmart, bought a third-party one, but like, no, I'm watching this Blu-ray. This Blu-ray player.
I knew I had seen it recently, and that's where it is. It fell... I've got like 5 remotes behind that Commodore printer, and that shit fucking fell over.
I guess I can take this next story, Brian, if you want me to.
It doesn't matter.
Netflix they're doing their this is from The Verge by Jay Peters. Netflix is expanding into gaming. They're starting with mobile. The games will be added at no added cost with a Netflix subscription. They revealed recently that I think who did they hire? They hired Mike Verdu. Mike Verdu from former EA and Oculus is heading up their gaming work, and this is quoted from the article here that I referenced earlier. We're also in the early stages of the further expanding to games, building on earlier efforts around interactivity, i.e. Black Mirror, Bandersnatch, and our Stranger Things games. We view gaming as, they didn't even mention the Labyrinth games or whatever, but we view gaming as another, what was it, Dark Crystal? Actually, we view gaming as another new content category for us, similar to our expansions in original films, animations, unscripted TV. Games will be included with the subscription. No additional costs, similar to films and series. Initially, we'll be primarily focused on games for mobile devices. We're excited as ever about our movies and TV series offerings, and we often long runway of increasing investment and growth all across all of our existing content categories. But since we are nearly a decade into pushing the original program, we think the time is right to learn more about how our members value games.
Decade.
Then they kind of do their pat on the backs about all the people they got from other networks like Shonda Rhimes and Reed Hastings and I think that's pretty much the whole article.
What was the first Netflix original content? The first show they created. I remember that being a big deal, though. And now everybody does it, right? But they were like the first HBO, that was a streaming service that you didn't have to... I mean, it was still premium, but it was...
I think Stranger Things was their first big hit. But I don't remember what their first show.
They definitely had a few other
House
things.
of Cards.
House of Cards. Okay. That was a big deal.
But I know, they're planning within the year to get games. I mean, I guess dipping your toe into mobile games is, I guess, a safe bet. I mean, because I would assume mobile games are a little bit easier to develop. I mean, plus they're... this is going back to, we brought the story up a few months ago that they'd probably capitalize on things that they've already had, which is what they said with Black Mirror and Stranger Things. And they do say that, they've always considered games that they compete with them. For time and attention, the co-CEO Reed Hastings writing, we compete with and lose to Fortnite more than HBO. And that's what he said in 2019.
As far as people's attention and what they're going to spend time and money on? Wow.
Yeah.
So,
and that's
the real reason is, I don't think this article talks about it, is they had a huge drop in subscriptions recently.
Yeah.
Like it's like 500,000 or something like that.
Damn, what happened? What caused people to drop off?
Because you got other streaming services like HBO Max is taking off, Peacock, Paramount Plus. Disney Plus. At this point, they're getting a saturation in the market, and this is a way to add value to Netflix. In my opinion, probably the easiest way to add something without having to sit there and put anything in the background to stream games yet, which I'm assuming is probably what they want to do at some point in the future.
Right.
Is do mobile and then work your way up. So
maybe they end up getting that. Stadia was going to talk about licensing with partners. Netflix would be a big splash, would be a big name to co-associate with Stadia as a platform and a service. Brent, do you have Netflix still?
Yes.
So you keep that in your repertoire.
Had it for quite some time, yeah. And I mean, they do offer so many different shows. I mean, the only really the bad thing about Netflix is when they generate a lot of these shows and start these brand new shows, they generate a lot of excitement towards them, and it's made to pull new subscribers in, not technically keep current subscribers. So they, announce these new exciting shows and then keep them for maybe 2 seasons, and then they don't renew them. They'll, drop them off. So I know there's been at least a few series that I've gotten like really into, and they do 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3 seasons, and then they're just like, we're pulling the plug, canceling that one. So
because it did its job. It got the return that they needed for new subscribers, and it hit like behind a Marvel movie. It piggybacked off of it, or like The Witcher or something like that. Which that second season's coming up soon.
Yeah, it's all about content views. Mm-hmm. So I mean, if it doesn't get it, they'll get rid of it. I mean, at this point, they are still in debt, like billions of dollars, to produce these shows, because they borrowed and borrowed and borrowed, so they can produce content that they don't own. So like I said, they're that's what I said. I don't. They're in a lot of debt.
Damn. I didn't know they were that deep in. I thought they were just raking in dough. So that subscriber hit is a big deal for them. I see.
It's a hit in the United States. It's been growing everywhere else because if you look at, like, for instance, in Japan, they're for anime, it's like the Wild West. Everything's shown on TV, televised on TV for anime, and the only streaming service in Japan that does anything with anime is Netflix. So like all the stuff that we see on Funimation, High Dive, and Crunchyroll that's spread out is all on Netflix. They own the anime. So for streaming, so like they have a high subscriber count in Japan just for that. So like every show that we see on like 3 different services is all on Netflix or Amazon. They're the 2 big ones that own all the stuff out there. So because there's no, like, Sony doesn't own a streaming service in Japan. Those studios don't own a streaming service in Japan, so they rely on Netflix and Amazon to do it for them. So they actually have their subscriber count went higher worldwide. Yeah. So it's just dropping in the United States.
All right, so I'm sure we'll get more announcements on that down the road. We talked about this a couple weeks ago as a rumor that Valve and Steam were going to be working on a Switch-esque portable device that would play things from the Steam OS and Steam library. And this past week, the 15th...
Lo and behold.
It
just kind of came out of nowhere.
It exists. Yeah, and that news just started rolling out.
To clarify, before I get too derailed off of it, they're $16 billion in debt.
Oh, Netflix, not Valve. Not Gabe Newell.
No, Valve is... Valve's not
They're doing fine.
They're still getting the 30% cut off everything.
You said 16 million?
16 billion.
With a B.
Ooh, that hurts.
With a B.
$16 billion.
According to them, at the beginning of the year, they were no longer borrowing against debt, so they stopped at the $16 billion. They accumulated $16 billion in debt over 10 years. They started 10 years ago getting ready for exclusive content.
Wow.
So,
best of luck to everyone at Netflix. Valve's Steam Deck. It's a portable. It's Switch-esque or Sega Nomad-esque, or the Gabe Gear, as I've heard it referred to as.
It's also a good one.
I like that one. It's going to be, starts at $399. There's a 64 gig version for that price that comes with eMMC internal storage and a carrying case. There's a 256 gig model for $529 that comes with an NVMe. I think we know which one says are pre-ordered. That comes with a 256 gig NVMe SSD internal storage, faster storage, they note, carrying case, and exclusive Steam community profile bundle. Make sure you get that in. This comes from Gamatsu and Saurmano. I forgot to mention that. Twitter unverified. Gamatsu, that is. I know, you can't ever get verification. Like, what does it take? And the 512 gigabyte version is $649 and gives you the exact same things and premium anti-glare etched glass and an exclusive carrying case. Not just the carrying case. They partnered with AMD to create Steam Deck's custom APU, optimized for handheld gaming. It is a Zen 2 plus RDNA 2 powerhouse, delivering more than enough performance to run the latest AAA games in a very efficient power envelope. Once you've logged into Steam Deck,
some other triple games that we played on there as well. So,
such as Link to the Past.
You know where I'm getting at. Triple X. There you go.
No, then there's your Triple X games. Never mind. I know what you're talking about.
Irage on the go.
Oh, I was laughing so hard because somebody
Portable.
was talking about that. Someone was like, I can't wait to play Nico Para on the plane and have people like, what the fuck's happening with these cat people? I was like, there's already people on Twitter talking about how inappropriate they're going to be with their Steam Decks.
On airplanes.
Oh, God.
So when you log in, your entire Steam library shows up. You'll find your collections and favorites. The Steam Deck was built for extended play sessions, whether you're using thumbsticks or trackpads. The rest of the device is sculpted to comfortably fit a wide range of hand sizes. The official dock props up your Steam Deck while connecting to external displays, wired networking, USB peripherals, and power. You can also use a powered USB-C hub if you've got one lying around. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. All right, so it's official. I think the rumor name was Steam Pal, right? Isn't that what we were talking about on a previous podcast?
I think that might have been a better option because I mean, if you try and type in Steam Deck, it tries to correct to Stream Deck.
Yeah.
So
the Elgato product.
Yeah.
Which they announced.
They got announced the same day.
The same day. No, is that good or bad? I wonder what those metrics look like for them doing that on the same day.
It was just oddly weird when they were getting ready to do like the Nintendo pre-orders for the SWOLED, and and like they were like that day before they're like, oh, just hold on to your $399, you know, like they just like shotgun it in there, like we got to get this out there that people can be confused if they need to see which one they want to buy. Yeah. I say that, but you have that 2-month requirement before you can even buy one. So
you have to have been on Steam for 2 months, right? Or have a valid Steam account.
I believe they did say that there's a like expandable NVMe slot on 2 of these models. They didn't really say if you're going to be able to upgrade it yourself.
Right, there's one on my PS5, which I'm currently using.
I know.
To answer your question, somebody had sent an email to Gabe and asked him, like, can I if I take another M2 stick and put it in there, will it work? And he replied in the email, yes.
Huh. Oh, okay.
He didn't clarify what you had to do to get
it going.
Their operating system back on there. You might have to go ahead and just put Windows 10 on there and then do everything the hard way, but apparently it is upgradable.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is they said this thing is completely open. It's Linux based. You can run Windows. You can run their Steam OS, but you can put whatever you want on there, which I mean technically you can open it up and install all sorts of other programs, emulators, and whatever the hell you want, which is pretty cool.
Or naughty games.
That's all I want.
Or more naughty games.
Yes, a Rage. I sent Richard one of the reviews from one of the Rage games they had on there. That I randomly ran into. I didn't own the game, but I just happened to saw it. And it's like I have to take a picture. This is so funny to me.
What does he say?
Somebody's
like 900 hours.
Like, 800 hours I was spending this game. It was like 918 hours he spent in there.
918 hours well spent.
And that's the other thing. I mean, between your Steam library and then if you wanted to, you could load up Windows on this thing and put Game Pass on there, and then you got a beast.
we already know what's going to happen. They're going to find some way to put Game Pass on there. That's the only thing that makes sense. Whatever can sell subscriptions. So I wouldn't be surprised they try to get Game Pass running on Linux and just get it on there, or have it integrated into Steam somehow.
They do one hell of a collaboration.
Because you saw what happened with Ubisoft. Ubisoft said if it's popular, they'll start putting their games back on Steam. So they're like, we might just bypass Ubiplay. So
Ubiplay.
I legit was thinking about, because I think I talked about this like a year ago, but Master Chief Collection, I still have Cesar and I bought the same desktop PC, and it has a very small C drive, the basic. It's like 128 gig NVMe, I think. And it's Game Pass games have to launch off your C drive. It's like a Windows thing, I guess, with Game Pass, and there's no way to move Master Chief to something else. I would happily free up that space, but it's hogging up all those resources on the C drive. And it's like, I can't do this. So I've actually almost thought about buying the Steam version of Master Chief Collection, and I've been playing this game nonstop. I might as well throw them another couple dollars, but I think it was $20 recently on sale, and just have the Steam version.
I bought it for 20.
You got it for 20? Yeah. Just to have.
I looked at it and was like, yeah, why not? I mean, like this point, I'm like everybody on Twitter when there's a cheap Steam game, like for Steam Deck, Steam Deck. That's all people put in the comments.
And it makes sense for you. Your library is like 1,000+ games, right?
I looked at it the other day. It's 1,100 games. Yeah,
I think
it wasn't Wario bad. I think Wario had 8,000 games.
8,000.
He's like time to buy games for Steam Deck, and he's like, all right, I'm already on. And he took a picture of his Steam collection. It was 8,800, I believe.
I'm trying to fire it up now just to see how many I have. I think my last check was like 380 or something, but I haven't. I've been a humble. What is it called? The humble monthly thing. I've been a subscriber to that since I got my gaming PC, and I haven't redeemed the past probably 8 months worth of those.
I promise you, every game I bought on there, I bought when I look on there and I was like, oh, $5. I just bought the complete Max Payne trilogy for like $10. I was like, oh, $10 for all 3 Max Payne games. Let's go. That's usually how I just fill up my collection.
Yeah.
So I don't think I paid anything more than $20 the most.
Yeah.
Because I bought Gundam G Generations the other day for $20. It's normally like $16. I was like, oh, okay. I'll give my support to that since we never officially get it released in America for English for PS4 or Switch. And they put it on English and Steam. I said, fuck it, I'll buy it for $20. I think it's always $60. So.
I have 849 Steam games. I didn't know that was I didn't know it was that high. All right.
You also got how many years of service do you have on your badge?
So suddenly this thing makes sense to me too.
Yeah. What do you think I bought it for? I'm like, I got 1,100 games. I can finally play all my Legends of Hero games in one fucking device.
Something else to play Skyrim on.
Instead of like 85 different devices.
Yeah, because I loaded up on a bunch of cheap stuff.
Every Final Fantasy game on one device.
Yeah. What Final Fantasies do I have? I have Final Fantasy 8 for PC, and that's the only one I have.
I don't even know where. I got 12 for like $10 somehow, and it's in my thing. I was like, oh, I already have 12. I was like, okay, I'll just play that on there.
It's a dedicated Legacy of Kain box.
I got every version of Fear that's been stuck behind on the PS3 or 360. I can play Fear 1, 2, and 3 and all the expansions. I love Fear.
I don't have any of the Fears. I have all the Fallouts.
Castlevania. Whatever you name it, I got them in there.
I
got the Skyrims.
Yep.
I got the Half-Lives. I got the Opposing Forces.
Oh yeah, everybody should have Half-Life. They like to give those away during the Steam sales. Branch, you were playing that not too long ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago, yeah.
Got every King of Fighters.
I have all the Oddworlds on here, all the Resident Evils except for 7 and 8. Wow. All right, that's I'm actually kind of upset because I haven't played so many of those.
I mean, why do you think I put the money in there? At this point, you can go ahead and throw your $5 in there. It's going to be a while before you get your spot in line, since it's like quarter 2 or quarter 3 now, depending which version you get.
It's a ways out. They definitely sold a shit ton of these devices, by the way.
I think mine's I didn't get a launch month in December. I think mine's quarter 1 because I got when the freaking server was slammed as I was going in there and buying it. I was like, great.
Getting destroyed.
Yeah, because I had to sit there. Like you ever follow Jeff Grubb in there and like he was trying to do his, and I was like, man, that was like that where my credit card information would not go through. It's like it'll just time out. And I was like, oh, it's gonna not take my credit card. I was like, great.
Gotta pay with Steam bucks. Is there anything else to mention with this thing? So the controllers.
No, outside
the controllers don't break off. We called it something like the Switch, but the controllers don't break off of it. So you put it in a dock sort of thing, and then you have your peripherals or your USB sticks or keyboards or whatever.
It's compatible with PS4, PS5 controllers, Xbox controllers, The dock does 8K, 4K, 8K at 60 frames per second, 4K 120 frames per second. It up converts. Yeah, I think the screen itself is what 800p. I think that's what it was. That wasn't 720p. It was 800p with some weird configuration. Seems to run the majority
resolution.
Yeah, seems to run majority of the games that are out now. Medium to medium high settings. That's for now.
It's kind of like our desktops, right? And they got all that jammed into a handheld.
I'm more interested in using that, like putting the dock in there, using it as a desktop. But honestly, yeah, it looks neat, man. I like you said, I bought it because I had all these Steam games I never fucking play, and this means if I'm gonna play them, I think it's well worth the money. I bought the middle one. I wasn't rich enough to buy I was like, I'm not spending $600 on this. A lot of people were happy to do the 512. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I was skeptical about doing the middle one.
It's a great looking device. Do you think, because there's articles out there about it being a Switch-like thing and them coming after Nintendo, do you think these are even the same markets as far as those two are concerned?
No. No. There's no way. I mean, who knows? I mean, it just all depends if the PC community is going to take hold of it. That's the thing that's going to sell it. I mean, will it pull, normal gamers out there? Maybe, because it kind of scratches that itch of both. Because, I mean, you can use that to, it's kind of like their version of like their Nintendo console, where, like this, they always said the Switch was like their combination of like a whole bunch of different systems. It's that Steam Deck's the same thing, because they had like their streaming box they had on there, the controller, they did a whole bunch of stuff, and this is kind of like taking a little bit of everything from there to make this. But it just all depends. I mean, mostly the PC community tend to play games on the PC, so it would see if I don't know, if it was me, and I'll be like, it's easier for me to take that than take a laptop, and it probably gets the job done. I probably would do the Steam Deck versus a laptop. Yeah. But not everybody's going to be like that, so it just all depends.
The only thing I can think of, and we can kick this around with the three of us, is, I mean, well, my Switch doesn't play Halo, so that's one thing there. But a lot of third-party games, Switch is not going to be, and I always go back to, I beat Doom on Switch, and it was awesome, but I got it for super cheap. So, but a lot of the third-party titles, that's not going to be the three of us, that's not going to be our lead platform to play those on. We're playing Switch for Nintendo games, and what I've found out is indies. But I've also seen like a cool Nintendo indie that will not be exclusive to them. It'll be like $10 or $12 on the eShop. It'll be like 3 or 4 on Steam, and that has driven me that direction. So I could definitely see them. It seems like, especially in between these first-party Nintendo releases and weird stuff like, okay, here's Borderlands, but you can only download the first one. The first one's on the cart. You have to download 2 and 3, or here's a Resident Evil collection, but only 4 is on the cartridge. You got to download the others 2. Here you have this device that already brings in the library that you've been accumulating, even if you're not a primary, Cesar and I are not primary PC gamers, and we have a huge library somehow of those cheap titles, and it's going to run almost all of those, just like the mid-tier style desktops that we got. So you are taking a compromise. It's not this massive powerhouse, but for the tech that they packed into that thing, it's very impressive, and it'll play 30 plus years of games right off the rip, and for a lot of those to be cheaper than I just think when these things are in people's hands, they're going to sell every one that they make, and then the next Steam sale that rolls around after that, and they are just going to load up. People are going to see that. Is the store accessible on the handheld? Can you get to it? It's over. Yeah. That's over. Yeah, it's done. You can get to that. Those Steam sales pop up. It's probably going to be like in your loading screen or something. You'll be following something, and there it is. And it's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant device. It'll bring PC gaming into a space where it's never been before. If you had a good gaming laptop, like Cesar was talking about, it was a big bulky thing. It was, if you didn't want to just play old stuff, it was Alienware, or it had a lot of fans, or it got hot, or there's always a stipulation, and this is just, according to what was announced and everything, this is just going to work.
I mean, look at that Melty Blood, the fighting game. That picture is famous, where they have a laptop hooked up into a bathroom, and they're playing it on the bathtub with arcade sticks. That's why they made fun of that one with the arcade sticks plugged into the Steam Deck. But that's like straight Melty Blood. I mean, that's dedication to play Melty Blood, because that's the only way you can play Melty Blood was on a PC. So
And as you guys mentioned, all the emulators that are going to end up rolling out for this thing, PSP emulators, and
there's a Switch emulator. I mean, you can pretty much.
Another one of those memes I saw said, "This device runs Breath of the Wild at 60 frames per second. This device does not." That's pretty good.
I don't think we mentioned, but this is coming out as early as December. I know they said check your pre-orders after you've done your order tickets for it, because to pre-order, like we said, you had to have purchased a game on Steam within the past 2 months. You couldn't just get on there, day of and purchase a game and be able to pre-order. Yeah. You had to put down like $5, and then eventually, once they go on sale, I think they said that what I'm hearing is the first model, that $399 model, will be available at the end of the year in December, and it looks like they may be doing the other ones early next year. They'll be rolling them out in kind of waves.
So that's when you said you were getting your 256 one, right?
Yeah, but I've seen people, like I know Wario's had his for December for the 512, so it just all depends on how quick you got yours in there. Yeah. I got mine when it was slammed, so mine got kicked out at Q1, but I did see people online that was getting their 256 in December.
All right, so that's the Steam Deck, Valve's portable PC gaming platform. Look forward to impressions from Cesar and more news, I'm sure, leading up to launch. Hoping they had do promotions, or it'd be fun to have a killer app. I know it's a storefront that they don't, it's every PC game except for Uplay or whatever, whoever has their offshoot, but it'd be cool for them to launch this with a killer app that you had access to. I think that'd be cool.
I'm certain Valve is probably going to do something internally with a first game. I would imagine with this, they're going to have to do something to help promote it. So outside of sales, so.
All right, there was
only one of these consoles can play Ys 9 portably well. So if you played Ys 9 on the Switch, but it runs like below 30 frames per second, and the other one runs like 60 frames or above. So.
Vita can do remote play on OLED.
The sad thing about it is you can't remote play Vita on PS5, and Ys 9 is a power hog, and it plays like butt on PS4 Pro. It only plays consistently on 60 frames higher on PS5, which is the one I played on. Yeah, because people were shitting on the Switch one, and somebody came back and said, it plays like shit on the PS4 also. It's like it only played well on the PS5.
Friend of the show, CJ was regretting his decision to play Ys 9 on Switch. He's like, wait a minute, I should have got the PS4 one and played it on PS5.
I bought it. It's bad. It's bad. It's like you get into these heavy battles and it slogs the screen, and you're like, oh my god, they should have came out with a pro model of this fucking console.
You pre-ordered it. I thought you got your pre-order in, sir.
Oh, I did.
Your Switch Pro.
I did. It's an Arage Pro.
The Swole LED.
The Swole LED. Did you pre-order Swole LED, Brant?
No, I'm skipping the Swole LED. I'm waiting until next year.
I got $50 off. I was like, let's go.
I sent him a message because I jumped at Walmart too. I was like, if you see it at Walmart, jump because it's $2.99.
I saw that.
It's never going to be $2.99.
I guess we'll talk about that. Specifically, the Neon Joy-Con model of the Switch OLED is for some reason $2.99 via Walmart.
They had a price match with the other Neon controller set, and that's
why I
went on there like, no, there's no way we're selling
one that's been out since 2017.
So it's some weird price matching thing within the computer, or people are going to be real pissed when they get the regular Switch with the Neon Joy-Cons.
Oh god, no! Back to the Metroid Dread thing from last week. You just get the regular. Brant, how many Switches are in use in your house? This is where I went through for my justification.
Technically 2, and then there's a third just sitting in a case.
Okay, so I do not feel bad because I will be sending my day one launch model upstairs to the kids and letting them go to town with whatever they want to play. So that was my justification. Then it dropped $50, and I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and keep that. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm looking I'm looking forward to the day where Richard just has like a Switch and an Xbox in every room. Like he had one in the guest room. They're like, hey, this guy's not that bad. It's like he's provided us consoles to play.
I could do that with Xboxes at this. I could do it with the first
I'm waiting for the time you can do it with the Switch. Yeah, I'm waiting for it. Yeah. I mean, technically, you have an Xbox One that can play anything if you got Game Pass. So
yeah.
I have. Yeah, I could pull it off. Yep, not with the Switch yet. Docks. I have 3 docks to my one Switch. So, but I've lost. I couldn't find it earlier. It might be over there with that remote. I had one of the Insignia ones or the Rocket Fish, whichever one they were. I got them super cheap. One of them super cheap back in the day. And then I bought that GameStop at some point and had them for $20. And I got that one that it's been sitting in here from when Brant and I streamed Donkey Kong Country, and I haven't moved it from there. So I have that extra one there.
Now you get another one too with your Swole.
So that's going to be, the kids have their 2DSs, which they've been playing a lot of Mario Kart. But this will be almost like Vinny Caravella with his kids. The Switch is not a portable. It's just, they don't know it comes out of the thing. It just stays in the dock.
Tape it in there or something like that.
You can buy
they must never find
dock
out.
lock.
The dock lock. Oh, like the Nintendo thing, the cartridge thing that would lock in there. Yeah. I'll get to that in games played, but they were super excited because my youngest saw Luigi's Mansion 3 advertisement, what was that, 2 years ago? And has been talking about Luigi's Mansion ever since then, and we finally played it, and it didn't go. It didn't go as I thought it would. Yeah. I'll talk about that in games played, so. Let's wrap up news. There was a Ubisoft show. This was 2 days ago.
New Splinter Cell, let's go. New Splinter Cell.
I mean, he's in there. I'm looking at Sam Fisher, right? That's Sam Fisher with the goggles? Maybe.
Yes, it doesn't look like Apex Legends ripoff.
And Sammy.
Yeah, let's go.
I see Sam and Sammy Fisher. So publisher Ubisoft, this comes from Gamatsu and one Twitter unverified Sal Romano. Publisher Ubisoft and developer Ubisoft San Francisco have announced Tom Clancy's X-Defiant, a new free-to-play first-person shooter for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. A release date was not announced.
Are they just trying to do it in like their Steam collections where they have like XCOM and then after XCOM is like X-Defiant, and that way they know, like if somebody goes to like the XCOM's like, oh yeah, X-Defiant, and they start playing X-Defiant.
There it is.
Is that what it is?
They accidentally click on it. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I forgot I had this game.
The first closed test, which will be held for PC players in North America, begins August 5th. Here's an overview of the game. Did anybody watch this? I heard it was a MOBA type thing.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, no.
Fine. I saw that somebody had said like there's a new Tom Clancy game coming up here, and I was like, and I didn't even open the comments because like I wonder how many people are just gonna say it's Splinter Cell, and I just forgot to look at it. Yeah, and I was like, yeah.
Here, I'll read about it since no one watched it. Welcome to the party. Tom Clancy's X-Defiant is a free-to-play, fast-paced arena shooter that combines intense gunplay with personalized loadouts and specialized factions as teams of gunfighters, called Defiants, battle for domination. It sounds novel. This has never been done before.
Lost the lead.
Gain the lead. Key features: personalized playstyle. Personalize your Defiant to match your playstyle. Choose your faction, traits, abilities, and ultras. Select from an...
Oh my god, they're actually calling them Defiants?
Yeah, the characters are called Defiants. This extra sucks. This Ubi sucks. Where was I? Select from an arsenal of primary and secondary weapons, attachments, and a device to complete your loadout. Then tweak it on the fly to adapt to an ever-changing battlefield.
It sounds way too complicated.
It sounds like a mobile game.
I don't know what any of this stuff means. Arsenal, primary, and attachments. I would just give up after I was like, I don't, because I'll be just me. Like, I don't know which attachments to choose.
It sounds like the third Ratchet and Clank game.
Bickering.
Path to Victory.
That.
Competitive clashes. Tom Clancy's X-Defiant offers a variety of competitive 6 versus 6 arena and linear game modes, such as Domination and Escort, because everyone loves Escort. Combine that with a large pool of uniquely designed maps in rotation, and no two matches will feel the same. Diverse factions of Defiance: Wolves, Outcasts, Cleaners, and Echelon factions battling across iconic locations. It's just
so there's the people that go in there just clean up the mess afterwards. Like they just bitch about people destroying stuff. I'm like, man,
those fucking Wolves and Outcasts. I'm back in here.
God, man, I'm tired of cleaning their shit up, and then they just get mad and they pick up the weapons themselves and they start killing them. Is that their backstory? We're gonna call ourselves a cleaner.
The housekeeping of Tom Clancy's X-Defiant. Tom Clancy's housekeeping.
That's another. Yeah, there you go. That's your episode title. Somebody write that down.
Tom Clancy's housekeeping.
Yeah.
Diverse factions of Defiance. Here's your Defiance, Cesar. Oh, I already read that. We'll keep adding to our cast of Defiance as the game evolves, drawing on a range of characters and abilities from the Clancy universe and beyond. Brant. Oh, Cesar, go ahead. You get to bring in a Clancy universe character. Who is it?
I don't know. There's so many representatives here.
It's perfect as is. I don't know. I don't know if we
inspiration. Hold up, I'm looking for inspiration. Give me a second here. Hold on.
I don't know if we ruin this game with any other characters.
It's Clancyverse. You can pick anything from the Clancyverse. So, my vote is Sean Connery, the ship commander in Hunt for Red October. He's a guest character.
Oh my gosh.
Does he go Red October standing by?
Yes. Actually, as you load the match, he's singing the Russian national anthem, and they zoom in, and then when they zoom back out, he's speaking English. That's the whole trip behind the Sean Connery.
Do we get all four versions of Jack Ryan? Does he just change as he goes into the battle?
That's a skin. Well done, Cesar. Jack Ryan skins. Yeah. That might be a better.
Like 85 people that play Jack Ryan. Like Ben Affleck was one of them too. Some of all fears. Yes. What was it? All right, it was Ben Affleck, Alec Baldwin,
Harrison Ford.
Yeah. John Krasinski.
Chris Pine.
Yep.
Those are the 5.
That's all.
Those are your Jack Ryan skins. I think
the 5 Jack.
I think it has to be 5 Jacks. I think it has to be Jack Ryan skins. It's way better. Pre-order now.
That way I can do.
That's it.
That way I can do it.
That's it. Best Buy has Ben Affleck. GameStop has Harrison Ford. You have to pre-order.
I like this.
We did it for him. We already did it for him.
Yes.
The ever-changing Clancy.
I can't wait to start. I can't wait to start a 6 versus 6 match and like everybody's Jack Ryan, just running around.
But it's oh, you see Harrison Ford, you think you're in The Fugitive. Like, what game is this?
The one-arm man. Just keep blaming it on the one-arm man.
Jack Ryan skin.
What was Tommy Lee Jones? I didn't do it. I don't care.
I remember the whole bit in Scrubs where he figured out the janitor was in The Fugitive.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking janitor.
Oh, God. Was that you in The Fugitive?
All right. I figured that would be the least interesting story, and I got the most entertainment out of that one.
Hey, man. 5 Jack Ryans, man. Get out of here with the 5 Jacks.
The 5 of Jacks. Holy shit.
Jack of 5. You can go either way you want.
Hey man, Ubisoft knows how to make these games as a service, so this probably won't be a bad game. It may not be for us, and I may try it. I'm sure friend of the show Russell will drag me into it. It'll have some Division tie-in that'll get him looped back into Division as well. So, all right, someone tell us about the Earthbound and Super Mario RPG coming to Super Nintendo. I'm excited.
Oh, if only we were that lucky.
What do you mean?
So,
Brand, is it going to be you? Are you the Nintendo online correspondent?
He's the chosen one.
Of course I am.
He's going to do it, and then he's going to go into his Animal Crossing spiel for the last 4 months.
We haven't got an update.
Brought in. Yeah.
The animals are dead.
My animals are dead.
They nuked. They discovered nukes, and then it all went to hell.
The island got blown to pieces.
I have not been in my island for 15 months, so I'm sure they're pissed.
Same.
Yeah.
I rolled credits and I was done. I got KK Slider singing to me at the end. I was like, oh, okay. And then just took the cartridge out and never played.
That's also part of my pitch to my kids. Like, you're going to get a Switch. When you learn to read, Animal Crossing gets more interesting. I won't say way more interesting. Animal Crossing gets better.
I'm about to say, you knew how to read. You got pretty disinterested real quick. You didn't get into the story that much. I played a shit ton
of that game, though. I don't know. If you look at my Switch clock, I think it's up there on my Switch list, to be honest. I put my time into it. That's my most played Animal Crossing.
I don't. I think I put 60 hours for mine, and it's like crazy. Some people just are crazy. Like, there's a coworker, I won't call her out at my job, and I think she's got like 585 hours. I'm like, I don't know what she's doing in there. I'm like,
dang.
I look at my friends list.
I don't know.
Some people they still clock in. They still check it out. It's worth keeping up with for some people, like Brant. But Brant, tell us about these Super Nintendo Online titles.
Oh, one of them are great. Don't shit on my Claymates. So
spoilers.
So we have.
I just believe in Clay Fighter. I'm sorry. So this is the precursor to Clay Fighter.
Bombzilla, Claymates, Claymates and Jelly Boy.
Jelly Boy.
On July 28th, they announced these are our new SNES titles coming. I'm trying to remember which one was which here. Two of them were action platformers, and the other one was more of like an isometric.
Oh. They all look like shit. I'm watching the trailers now.
Yeah, they kind of like a puzzle game where it's okay. So it's Bombzilla is the one where it's kind of like this puzzle game.
We got it as Kablooey. I don't know why they reverted to the other name. We got it here as Kablooey.
And the thing is like, I think they mentioned at the top of the article, because this is from Saruman Gamatsu. Japan gets Bombzilla as well. Shin Megami Tensei If.
Jelly Boy changes into shapes and like
enough.
Shoots his junk out at people. What the fuck is this?
These are come on, Nintendo. Just give us like Game Boy Advance, something. Obviously you're scraping the bottom of the barrel of SNES and NES titles.
Bottom of the barrel. This is just garbage. This is straight garbage.
I mean, I would expect Richard to punch me in the face if he came over and saw any physical copies of his games on my shelf. So.
I need to look and see if I have one of these three. Because I'd never heard of them until today, and I'm looking at them and they're just... Okay, Kablooey looks like the best of the bunch. It doesn't look great. It's like an isometric Bomberman, which I think Brent was saying. It doesn't look awful, but these are not... This is not driving anyone to that service. That's what this is for, right? That's what Game Pass does? Like, hey, the new Dungeons and Dragons may not be amazing, but that's a title people are looking forward to. It's going to be on the service. And this is a service Nintendo has the best gaming history in the industry. There's no denying that. And they're adding this shit.
Yeah. And every time I look at that Shin Megami Tensei, I always see the KH on the pocket breast, and I'm looking at Kingdom Hearts. I just look at it and says, this must be a Kingdom Hearts game. It keeps going to me. I'm like, Kingdom Hearts. I knew it. So.
What is that Shin Megami Tensei? Do you know anything about it?
If I don't know, I have no idea. I can't say for certain. I imagine it's probably like a side story or like a what if from the original games. So I'm still upset that we didn't come up with 5 Jack Ryans dropping on an island. So
no one's done it yet. We can still do it. We just have to render. Those are very expensive renders if you think about it. John Krasinski, it's not going to be cheap to get him. Chris Pine might be cheap these days. Alec Baldwin's not going to be cheap. Harrison Ford's not going to be cheap. Who am I leaving out?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck is not going to be cheap. Those are expensive caps.
He's going to come in with the Batman suit. Yeah.
5 Jack.
He's dropping in with the Batman suit. Yeah.
5 Jack Ryan's drop on an island.
Where we landing, boys?
They're landing on the Animal Crossing island.
Or the Red October.
Yeah.
That'd be good. We're landing on the Red October. That could be a stage map. That's one of the maps on the Tom Clancy game. I'm more enthralled in the X Defiance game. Red October is definitely a map that you fight on. And then the submarine goes underwater, and you got to get inside the submarine before it does.
How many jacks could Jack Ryan jack if Jack Ryan... Jack Ryan...
No, sir. No, sir.
I can't remember Sum of All Fears. Wasn't like one of the scenes in the giant hospital or something like that? I can't remember that.
Something... I think a nuke went off and blew up Morgan Freeman. I think Morgan Freeman died in that one. I only saw it one time.
Is that the only time that Morgan Freeman's died? In a movie?
Maybe? What's another?
I can't think of any other movie.
He's not the Alec Bean of acting.
I mean, he survived in Shawshank Redemption also. So.
Yeah.
He got his due at the end on the beach. Damn, that's a good movie.
Very, what he got was very reminiscent of Office Space.
Yeah.
On the beach.
Got the money at the end. Damn, when else has Morgan Freeman died? He doesn't die, does he? He lives.
Mm-mm. Morgan Freeman's awesome.
He's a liver.
I mean, he even in Bruce Almighty, he was God in that. So.
All right, last news story, and we'll get to games played. We're an hour in. We have 48 minutes.
I want to go more into X Defiance. It's the X Defiance podcast.
It got way better.
Let's go.
We'll make that our game. We'll stream that game with our Jack Ryan skins. We'll get our following off of Tom Clancy's X Defiant.
Do we get the Splinter Cell skins for like one for each game? Do we have all those?
No, they tease it in the trailer and in the imagery, and they never have any actual Splinter Cell content in the game. That's the truth. Yeah, that's the true reality.
It's like Ubisoft's Half-Life 3. It's like they talk about it all the time, but it never actually happens. And this game would have been the new Splinter Cell game, but it ended up turning into something else
with Jack Ryan skins in it. Here's your games coming to Game Pass. I noticed one of these updated for me today, and that was Microsoft Flight Simulator. But available today is Battlefield 5 via Cloud and EA Play. Chris Tales. Oh, I didn't know that was a Game Pass game. Cool. I played the demo of that on Steam a long time ago. That looks really good. Coming soon, Atomic Crops, Raji, and Ancient Epic. I'm glad I waited on that one on Switch. It was like $30. Last Stop, Blinks the Time Sweeper, which I legit want to give this a shot. So, people shit on Blinks the Time Sweeper, and I played it back in the day, and I was like, what even is this? What am I doing? But someone mentioned on a podcast, I can't remember where it was, I should give them credit, but they mentioned that this was only possible on the Xbox. Every Xbox had a hard drive in it, so it allowed for that like replay, rewind, fast forward. It allowed you to do those sort of things by utilizing that hard drive. And then when I was thinking like, it's only possible on this console, then that made it, okay, I need to see what this was bringing to the table, because that was something different. This literally could not have been played on these other consoles unless you had the built-in PS2 hard drive that.
You had a system link to PS2s to play.
There you go. There you go. You had to share the you had to share the ROM between them.
2 copies of the game, 2 PS2s, and system link.
But I've wanted to try it ever since I heard that. So it's like, yeah, let's see what that is, something that it pulled out of that hardware platform that wasn't possible anywhere else. Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge, Cloud and Console, July 26th. This wasn't already out? I guess my copy was just my physical copy I put on there. I thought this was already on there. I must have done it when it was backwards compatible. July 27th is Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mentioned that one. That one's already updating. Lethal League Blaze on July 29th. Omnov on July 29th. Project Wingman on July 29th. The Ascent on July 29th. Which is a solo and co-op action shooter RPG. Cesar, is this the one we liked out of that Xbox showcase? The isometric one? We were like, we never play isometric games. Let's try this one. The Ascent.
Which one? The Last Stop? The Ascent? There might have been Ascent. I can't tell.
I think that's it.
I need video content, but that seems right. Because, I think this was the first big game that was coming out. Because I think out of that E3 show, I think July was the first one. I think this might have been it. So.
PUBG Battlegrounds is getting a new update. This is DLC and game updates. Is getting a new map. Cesar, any interest? PUBG?
I fire it up from time to time. I'm always in there.
Oh, okay. I haven't played it since I won on Google Stadia. Someone carried me to victory, and then I killed the last person after they'd been killed.
Surprisingly playing a lot of Apex Legends on PC, though.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I can go back to controller anymore, so...
Intense.
It's a big difference.
Have you gotten a Victory Royale in Apex on PC?
Victory Royale, yep.
Okay, cool.
And I sing my Chug Jug at the very end of the song, at the end of the match, so... Until the people kick me off for singing.
Are you still playing as the robot with the
get down
extension cord thing?
I forgot what his name is. No, I think it was a LifeLock. What's her name?
I haven't played Apex since you and I played, and I've moved houses since then. Brent has too.
I don't know. I fell into it when I was like, let me fire this up on PC, and because I watch streamers play it all the time, and they always make fun of the console players. Like, look, there's a console player, and as they kill them out, and I was like, let me see how much easier it is on PC. And I was like, it's night and day.
Point and click on somebody's head.
Yeah.
Minecraft Minions DLC. Yes, that is the actual Minions that you know and love. Minecraft Dungeons, Echoing Void DLC, and Free Gauntlet of Gale's Mission, July 28th. And 80 plus games with Xbox touch controls now on Apple phones and tablets and Windows 10 PCs. That is a shit ton of games. They added 14 more cloud-enabled games. That includes City Skylines, Darkest Dungeon, Fable Anniversary, Fable 2, Fable 3, Fusion Frenzy, Goner 2, Joyride Turbo, Outlast 2, Steep, The Bard's Tale ARPG, The Bard's Tale 4, The Bard's Tale Trilogy, and The Wild at Heart. And I'm not reading the rest of these. Oh,
we're not gonna mention the Crashology or the Crash Quadrilogy.
Never mind. There's an Xbox Game Pass quest for July that's for Halo: The Master Chief Collection Ultimate. 50 points. Play the game. I got that one.
There you go. Nailed
it. This is always important. Leaving Xbox Game Pass soon. It lurks below The Tourist and Undermine. So it doesn't sound like any heavy hitters are leaving Game Pass very soon. For you Game Pass aficionados out there, I'm just using it to play Halo for some reason. Brant, you jumping on Game Pass yet? Are you going to convert your remaining months and all that?
At some point, yes.
Hesitating. You have enough to play at this point. You're actually the smartest out of all of us.
Oh, yeah.
You have enough to play. Which we all do, but they got us. All right, games played. Cesar and I are going to talk about Skyward Sword at the end of his session, I guess.
I literally just put the sword in the sky, and that's what happens.
You haven't played much of it?
No, I played 4 hours of it. Me doing this for 4 hours? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wait and talk about it.
Yeah.
GL Bonkai.
I did the He-Man. I have the power.
That is the best attack from Skyward Sword, by the way, is like running around, backing up from people, like charging up that sword and doing some kind of cut at them. We'll talk about that later. Played some Halo. Nothing.
No.
Not again. No.
No.
Nothing new on that front. New weekly challenges rolled over. Normal stuff. What I was talking about in the preamble of the show is my kids were excited about Luigi's Mansion, so I was like, hey, let's fire up the first one. Let's see if you guys like it. And then I can either get you on the third one or get you the ones for the 3DS. Like, we'll see how this goes. We'll play in this path. They were too spooked out by the premise of the ghosts being in the mansion in the first room and did not want to play. It was, Daddy, you play this part. I'm like, I beat this game. I played this game on 2 different platforms. I don't have to do this. And then as I started clearing the room, I was like, I could probably play through Luigi's Mansion again. It's a good-ass game. I know Cesar and I, like, one sitting beat it years ago, probably 10 fucking years ago at this point. And then I beat it on 3DS.
Got cheap at the end. So.
Do what?
Got cheap at the end.
It did, but the Bowser fight is, like, way harder than it should be at the very end, it seems like. And then I beat it. I think it was talked about on this podcast, but I beat it a couple years ago on 3DS. That remaster, port, whatever it is that came out. Skyward Sword. We didn't play any more Dungeons and Dragons. Dark Alliance. I don't know if I want to go back to it. It's fun, but I almost feel like it's just me and Russell hanging out when we play, and we could do that and play something we really want to play. Kind of like those, people say they just get together and play Destiny or Division or something, and it's a social game, but are they actually enjoying that? So I don't know that Dark Alliance will continue much. I'd like to see what another biome looks like, because that level took so long to beat. And the enemies were all the same. The environment was very repetitive. I would like to see what another area of that looks like and go from there. I guess Skyward Sword. Cesar, are you ready to discuss what you did with the new Legend of Zelda game, the Skyward Sword HD, which is my second experience with it. I played, the only other time I played with it, I played 5 hours worth with Cesar. He fell asleep for the last 3 hours, and that 5 hours worth was like getting the sword. I don't know why it took so long maybe because all the interruptions and stuff on the Wii.
The bullshit every time I pick up a rupee and lets me know how much I got instead of just letting me know once.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it shortened it, because I don't think I have 5 hours in this one, but I'm already working my way through the first, like, legit temple. How far did you get in it?
I got to the point where I started going into the first temple. I've beaten the first temple before though. Okay. So I haven't encountered anything new yet.
Okay.
Because I think I gave up on the Wii one after the first temple, and I was like, yeah.
So I started. This is the furthest I've been, obviously. I started the game in handheld mode, playing the button controls, and I felt like, and I want to know what you think. I felt like the button controls were trash. I couldn't do anything with them. Every time I got the sword out, it's just like I'm just waving it around. It's not cutting the way I need it to. Like, I put a video up of me in that training area, and it's like the log is just kicking my ass because I'm flailing around all over the place. Cesar, have you stuck with playing the button controls?
Done both.
Yeah. Same.
I'm fine with the button controls. I'm fine with the different angle slashes tied to the right analog stick.
It feels.
I think the most annoying.
It feels like if I had a Switch Lite and that was my only console, I would not want to play that method. I would not want to be stuck with that. It's a good mix. Like, if I can't do the motion controls at home, to pick that up and take it on the go, and maybe play at my lunch break or something like that, it feels good to use the button controls that way. But this is not. I thought it was going to be like, okay, we took the motion controls out. Now it plays like Twilight Princess or Ocarina or something like that. It is not to that level, in my opinion, from what I've experienced.
For me, I'm fine with the slashes being tied to the right stick, and doing the different angles had no issues. I know they had to do it that way because if you look at the enemies have to be attacked at certain angles.
Yes, they do.
That's the way the game's designed. Yeah. The most annoying aspect is having to hold down the L1 to use the camera to turn around. Drives me insane.
That single-handedly broke it for me, honestly. And when I switched to motion controls, having that second camera, I was like, okay, I'll touch on this when you're done, but motion controls still suck. But at least I had that second camera option there.
Yeah, so I think I tried doing it with the Pro Controller. I've tried doing it with the Joy-Cons on the camera tied to L1. It's much easier with the Joy-Cons because I started with the Pro Controller, and it's big and bulky, and having to hold that down my finger gets tired. My index finger gets tired holding it down. It's easier to do it with the Joy-Cons. But outside of that, I've done the motion controls. I've done both. I'm fine with either one. The motion controls can be iffy sometimes, trying to read certain angles. I got to reset it all the damn fucking time.
Same. That's where I thought they were going to improve, and I will literally go a minute and a half and I'll have to resync the thing, pull up the menu, point at the screen, hit Y, and I have to remember where Y is at. It's not the same Y as Xbox. It's like, where the fuck is the Y button?
I'm at the point where I'm constantly pressing Y during cutscenes. Like, at this point, so I can just be prepared once I get out of a cutscene. So I'm just constantly pressing Y at random points just to make sure it's synced.
They said the motion controls were better though. Like, what's missing? Should we have had that sensor bar? Is that the difference?
I think it's better than the Wii.
Is it?
It's a little bit more precise. Yeah, I don't remember the Wii one was more of a pain in my ass. This one is like, okay, I might be able to beat this game if I do the motion controls. I remember the Wii one, I got tired of it immediately. Because it's like me doing like large swings, and I can just do kind of like flick of the wrist, and it'll do the same thing on the Joy-Cons.
So I could wing it for a certain part, but you get the slingshot going into the first dungeon, right? Every time I pull up the slingshot, Link's just like,
oh, it's all over the place.
He's screaming a whole nother direction. I'm like, what the fuck? No, just go straight. And there's like a piranha plant trying to eat me or some shit. And I'm like, no, just look straight ahead where you were. Why did you freak out? And my kids are watching me play, and they actually enjoy watching Zelda. And they're like, Dad is freaking out again, because they'll see me just spinning around, and it's like I can't stop it. And I have to move Link out of the way. I have to come out of the slingshot. I have to move Link out of the way. I have to pull up the menu, sync the damn thing back to the middle, and then try to do it again. It's just so breaking of that flow of the game, because the game is awesome.
The word is cumbersome, just like the Grunge song.
Yes, it is very cumbersome.
7 Married 3, yes. I play that in the background as I play this game.
It's appropriate. Because everything about it is incredible. You have, like, I've had dungeons that are areas before the dungeons. You can see where this is a blueprint for Breath of the Wild. But you still have your traditional dungeons. And the first one has been awesome. It's just bullshit stuff like that.
The things that scared me away or I didn't like too much on Breath of the Wild, I'm okay with on this one. So, like, the stamina meter, they put the fruits there in the way to help boost it up. And it's like you lose stamina doing every fucking thing ever, even doing your spin attacks.
Yeah.
I think the most annoying thing that I do love when you do the buttons is that getting across fucking tight ropes is so much easier with the button controls.
Yep.
It's like it's a fucking nightmare with the gyro sensor. I'm going left and right. I'm like, I didn't want to do this when I played Uncharted.
I was gonna say it reminded me of Uncharted 1.
I don't want to do that shit there because it's always me going left, it's always me going right, and then some enemy gets on the rope with me, and I'm like, no, fucker, get off the rope. I'm trying to just make it across, and I see him crawling towards me, and I'm like, son of a bitch, because he just walks up to me and knocks me off. I'm like, damn it.
Or those those spiky explosive ball things, those seed things. And then
it's always something.
And then you think you want to center link on the rope to get across, but of course the Joy-Con doesn't think that's center. So you have to find the official center, which might be this, and he'll go left to right, but you're still trying to find that exact center of where the Joy-Con fucking thinks he is. Bro, I spent so much time like falling off the rope and just hanging there and having to get myself back.
So every time I come up to a tight rope, I switch the button controls, and then every time I get off of it, I go back to motion.
That's pretty smart.
That's been my workaround.
I may do the same thing
because I got tired of it. Yeah, I'm like, this is so dumb. It's like it takes me 5 minutes to go across the tight rope. I see one is like a halfway across again, and I'm like, great, this is a 10-minute trek for me.
Right back to Uncharted 1, that needless 6-axis bullshit.
But outside of that, you're further along than me. And I mean, it's a lot of the stuff I think I had complaints about before. It's easier for me because I played it in Breath of the Wild. A lot of stuff they, like you said, expanded upon the stamina meter. Just the openness of the game. The world seems to be a little bit more open compared to other Zelda games since the original one, probably before Breath of the Wild came out. A lot of that stuff that probably was weird for us because it was a huge change for the formula after like 20 years. It's not so bad because we did that Breath of the Wild, which was a humongous change. Yeah. So it's like going back to it seems to be easier, and it's like you said, it's like you get the best of both worlds. You get some of that Breath of the Wild stuff, and then you get some of the dungeons and the older aspects that we kind of missed since we haven't had in a while. So
it's an incredible game. If I wasn't fighting the motion controls, I'd be way more excited about it. And then not only the way the motion controls work, but how they function. And so there's 2 spiders in the part of the dungeon that I'm in, that first dungeon. And there was a glowy part on the back of them. So I'm like, okay, it's a Zelda game. I whack it, wait till it spins, and then attack the glowy part. I could never get it to work. And it ended up being, my wife was watching me play. She was like, can you thrust at that thing? And I hadn't done the thrust since I had the motion controls. And then I did it, and there it goes. I killed it almost immediately. And it's just like
it's like the stab for the thrust, right? I think.
But it doesn't always register. A lot of the times with the motion controls, you'll do some like downward thrust or something. Or the up to down. It's just not.
And I was super excited about no more weapon breaks until my shield starts breaking. I'm like, great. I was like, I don't even use my shield anymore.
Shield has a health meter.
I saw the bar going down. I was like, fuck no, shield. I was like, no. I was like, something always breaks in these games. I was like, I don't want to have to deal with this. I'm flying back behind shields every so often. I stopped using shields because I was like, I might need this later.
I haven't done it yet. Mine's like halfway full. But I was using it for the piranha plants. I was using that forever, and then I saw that I was taking damage. I was like, "What am I doing wrong? I'm timing it and everything. I'm killing these guys. Why am I taking damage on the shield? This is garbage."
Like, great, that's gonna break. Yeah. I was like, "Oh god!"
But the music's incredible. It has more story than a Zelda game usually does. It's the characters are wonderful. The environments are really cool. It's fun. Like progressing through. Like I said, the lead up to the dungeon is almost like its own dungeon where you have these puzzles and things that you have to accomplish before you can get to it. And as you get through a part and you're like, oh my god, I do not want to have to climb that again or get through these enemies or whatever, there will be like a log in this stage, and you push the log down, and then it's made you a shortcut to wherever it was you were trying to get to initially. So I see there's going to be some backtracking at some point, but they've made these shortcuts available to where it's not going to be bullshittery, I guess is the right term. Before you go in that first dungeon, you have to find 4 of these creatures that are hiding, and I wasn't too...
Oh, the Kiwikis, or what they call them. It's like Kiwis, but it's like
Kiwiki. You have to find these 4, and I had already found 2 just progressing through the level, so it wasn't as bad, and it made me find other parts of the level by finding the other 2, and I thought that was pretty cool.
It's like you said, that first 4 or 5 hours up to the first dungeon is like all like a tutorial. Yeah. Like, because I mean, the whole thing, locating your bird, and going down to the overworld, and I mean it's basically hand holding you the whole way. Like, this is what you got to do if you see this. This is what you got to do if you see this.
That loft wing, I cannot fly that loft wing in motion controls. It's always looking the wrong direction.
To buttons. I switched to the buttons.
Have to do buttons
is amazing on loft wing. Yeah. Yep.
I fly that thing straight and true with the button controls. When I'm on motion controls, it's like the bird. I'm trying to go up with the bird, and he's just balking at everything. And I'm like, which way are you even trying to look?
Like, you got to do this the whole time. I'm like, God, to speed up and go down. I'm sitting there like, yeah.
Because I switched midway.
I'm sure if it was me on camera, you look at me jerking myself off doing this, trying to play the game. So I'm like, I was like, I'm sure somebody from my window outside is probably looking like, what's he doing over there?
It's fine. It's just Jack Ryan.
I'm just trying to use my loft wing. Don't judge me.
Jack Ryan. Yeah, good.
5 Jack Ryans lining
Carry on.
But
I think. So how do you do the spin attack with the motion controls? I haven't figured that out still. I don't know what that button press is. When I did the tutorial, I was using buttons. I wasn't using the motion controls.
So you shake them together like this.
That's what you do. That makes a lot of sense.
And to do the vertical spin, you do up both at the same time.
I figured out the kill. Like when you wound something and it's down, you do like a thing like that to jump on them and kill them. I'm like, that's I think
you target and you do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, this game is way more playable since you can switch to buttons at certain points. It's just a pain in the butt because you have to do that at certain times. For me,
they both suck.
Some people.
Both of these control options are not optimal, in my opinion. This is not how I would want to play a game, but it's still better than just having one option.
It is playable for me without it just being forced with the motion controls, which I think at some point is probably the motion controls is why I quit that game to begin with. It's probably because I didn't want to do all that.
Because I want to appreciate it. There's so many cool things, like the piranha plants. Some of them open vertically. Some of them open horizontally. You can't attack them the same way. There's some really, really cool level designs.
Was it Bobkins? The Bobkins do the same thing too, where they hold their weapons at different angles.
And that
I'm somewhere slashing them. I'm like, you cheeky bastard. That's what I was saying there when they switched up on me. You cheeky bastard.
That element is so cool.
He's almost dead.
But I just still I feel like I'm gaming it by trying. I just swing. I'm just swinging nonstop to try to find some weak point, because doing it the actual way I think you're supposed to do, it just doesn't work. And the first dungeon I'm in, there's spider webs, and it's really cool to like clear the spider webs with the sword. But it's just not consistent. And that stabbing that spider killed me, man, because I was to the point, that was where I had to pass them to progress. I didn't have a key or anything else. I was like, well, I guess I get a boomerang or something. I'm going to hit them with the boomerang, and they're going to show that glowy bit, and then I can kill them. And my wife's like, why don't you just thrust with do you have a sword thrust? Like, to go straight at them? I was like, let me try it. Because that spider I haven't died yet, but the spider had almost killed me a couple times. Like, damn it. Save spaces are everywhere? That seems new for a Zelda game. So you can save at these statues everywhere. And
use those statues to go back to your home base in the sky.
I haven't left yet. I haven't left the surface since I got down there.
I'm assuming when you hit those goddess cubes, they send something up there, right? Is that the whole premise?
I would think so.
Destroying the goddess cubes. I haven't gone up there and looked yet.
Yeah, I haven't either. So. That's what the Goron was telling me. Like, we don't know where it goes. It just goes up in the sky. And I'm like, I think I know where it goes.
Well, I figure it's like, it's going to be somewhere where I have to fly my loft wing to get. And I'm like, I'm not doing that yet. So I was like,
oh, yeah.
That's why I haven't gone yet. I got a feeling it's going to be like, you got to fly to get this. And I'm like, I don't like doing that. I was like, yeah, I don't see it landing on that island in the sky.
I was thinking it was a skyloft somewhere. I'm like, okay, I'll just look around the island. But now that makes sense.
It's gonna be some bullshit. Yeah, it's gonna be some bullshit. I gotta fly and get something. I'm like,
It's it's like the Wind Waker, the small fry thing. Hey, small fry. It's like trying to find the treasures in Wind Waker.
I found all the treasures in Wind Waker. I love that fucking game, man.
That sky is not the wind. The sea had character to it. There's something about that sky that's just unappealing. It's like, okay, get me from point A to point B. I struggled like a motherfucker to fall through that initial part. And first off, you can't jump off of every platform and get your bird. It doesn't work. I kept jumping off the same one. Somebody was rescuing me. I'm like, no, I want my damn bird. So there's like a particular...
they bit you out. I won't be around all the time to save your ass.
Yeah. They have bird names too. Like one of them was Hawk or something, Hauk, something like that. And then as I was trying to drop down into the area that the first thing opens up, like you have that first column that's a break in the sky, took me forever to get the loft wing to drop me off in the right place and drop down into that opening. So it's just the controls are. That's never a good thing when you're talking about that in the game. It's never something that you want to be in the way. You know, if it's something in the game like, man, I'm slipping on the ice, or you know, if it's wind, Ninja Gaiden, you know you're going up against wind. It's going to be what it's going to be. But the controls, like basic, just moving around and waving the sword with so much of the game tied behind it. Damn it. But it's really good. I'm going to keep plugging away. It's scratching that Zelda dungeon itch. It's, like Cesar said, it seems like a really good combo of Breath of the Wild and the older style ones. So
until we can get our true machine that can play our Chrono Time later. So
yeah, it's coming to you next year, Q1 2022.
Hopefully sooner than that.
Oh, the Polymega's coming out?
And this is going to be a Polymegaless episode, I hope.
I don't know, man. Did you see the thing where they put on Instagram where they have all that stuff ready for shipment?
Yeah, we're too busy shipping stuff or something like that. They said that a year ago. Somebody's like, this aged well.
They took a picture of them on pallets like recently, like a week ago. Like they actually updated their Instagram account and said, hey, these are ready to ship out. Like they didn't update their Twitter account.
So I should have it, right?
They didn't say how that was being divvied up, other than they were like, they're ready for shipment.
Influencers. So it's going to Metal Jesus and Radical Reggie and all those people.
I don't know, man.
All right. That's all my games played. Luigi's Mansion on GameCube. My kids didn't like it. Some Halo and Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD.
All right, I'll just finish mine out since I kind of piggybacked on your Skyward Sword. I have not played much. So
rare. This doesn't happen often, sir.
No, I'm still in my summer anime stuff. I'm watching a lot of anime right now. Yeah. So, trying to think. My mind went blank. I did finish up Dragon Quest IV. It took me 30 hours. It's the only Dragon Quest game I've ever beaten. So it's essentially I didn't realize that I played the shitty version of Dragon Quest IV, so I got screwed on that one. So because that one doesn't have the like I said, I'm sure a friend of the show Michael has mentioned this before. I think that one doesn't have the party chat. That's the part they didn't translate for the American audience. So I think the Android version has it though. So I was a little disappointed by that, and I didn't find out until after the fact after I beat the game. So apparently, as you went through that game, when they did the remakes, they added a party chat, which was after certain major events, your party it's kind of like the skits from like Tell's games. So like if a major event happens, you can get the opinions of the party as you go through it. So adds more backstory, adds more characterization to the characters. So this one plays more with like the old school NES games where it's just straightforward and you get the main story, but you don't get that context in between. Like I said, outside of that, I think I was telling Brent Richard that I beat Dragon Quest IV 30 hours.
Damn.
I finally knocked down system settings. Is no longer my top 5. It's officially dropped down to top 6.
He made it to the top of the stairs.
Mm-hmm. I'm slowly kicking it out. As well as my eShop. My eShop's dropped to 6. So they will soon be out of my top 10. I will not have that. Oh, it will be. It's getting there. So to make a long story short, as you go through Dragon Quest IV, and I think the last time I left off is I started playing as what was it? The twins, right? Mm-hmm. I think it was the two girls that are trying to get vengeance for their father.
The Torneko part.
Yeah, the Torneko one was the one that almost lost me. Like I thought I was being forced into reliving my Cells days. But outside of that, Maya and Mina are the two. Mina are the two girls. So I get their story bit, and it ends off, and then it goes to the hero. And so the hero is like in a secluded area, you find out, and they're training him because they knew the hero is supposed to defeat the Lord of the Underworld, which every time I see that name, it always reminds me like Lords of the Underworld from South Park. I have to sing the song in my head. But I was like, that name has not aged well, and they left it in there. But as you go through, his village is destroyed, and I guess a childhood friend of his was an elf. knows how to do morph, and she turns into a copy of him and kind of and dies in his place.
Oh.
So the demons who murdered her are the other assumption that the hero's dead, and so after that, the hero begins his journey. So as you go through, he basically. I'm forgetting some of the middle stuff. I always forget stuff in the middle when I start playing games like that. He's going to basically maintain his destiny, which is go through and fight the Lord down the world. And as he goes through, you meet these characters along the way. I think Maya and Mina are the first ones you meet that gets added to your crew, because they are, after their story bit, they found the guy who murdered their father, and you beat him in battle. But like, I guess the guy that Marquis de Leon that was controlling everything behind the scenes beats them. It's like that classic RPG battle thing where you cannot beat that boss. You all have to die to continue the story. You know, they always throw at least one of those in there in like every RPG. And so the same thing happened for them. They get defeated, and they never were able to revenge their father fully. So they decide to look for the hero, because they need the hero to complete their vengeance. Because I know Mina, I think, is basically. Mina is like a fortune teller, and I think she foresaw it in the future. So they end up running with the hero, and I forgot what town it is, and they join his crew. And as you go through, you go around and start collecting the other members from the play from the previous chapters. I think Alina, and I think she was looking for some medicine for one of her characters, like Kirill, the people that was following around with her and her team, that has got a fever, and so you got to help her go through a cave and find these feverfew seeds and grow them out in a village, and then give them to her character, and they join your team. You find Torneco, he's like hiding out in the lighthouse, because when he built the tunnel connecting two continents, like all the demons were hunting him down, so he was on the run. And then you find Ragnar McRyan, which was the first guy you play as, and he's the last one that joins your crew. And so as you go through, you find out that you need as you go through, you have to get access. You find out like the villain behind this whole thing is Sario, who's a demon, and he's kind of protecting a elfish girl called Rose, and he keeps Rose inside a tower, kind of like Rapunzel. It's like a tower that has like a secret door that only he can go in, and the reason why he's keeping her there is because all the humans were trying to use her as like the golden goose, the goose that lays the golden eggs, because apparently she cries tears of rubies. So like all the humans who were wanted money and everything were trying to get her for her tears, or ruby tears, and so he's trying to get vengeance against humanity because of what they've done to Rose. So he's trying to do like the perfect evolution where he's turning people into demons, and he's trying to figure out a way as he looks for the Lord of the Underworld and starts this whole resurrection thing where they would take over the world, and that way he can complete his vengeance. And so as you go through, you find that the hero is actually half angel, half human, because you get a little bit of his backstory, because you find out like an angel had flown to that world, and then fell in love with I think it might have been a farmer. I don't know. But they end up having a child, and the farmer gets struck down by lightning as like a consequence, because angels are not supposed to mix with humans, and so the child was born. So the mother left the child there on the earth, and she flew back up in the sky.
It's not his fault.
So as you go through, you have to get these pieces of a Zintherian. I think it's Zintheria is the angel location place. So you have to get these pieces of Zintherian armor, because of course without the armor you can't ascend to that area, because you're getting the full story of what you need to do.
So is that a side quest to build all these armor pieces?
Yeah, I mean it's part of the main quest, but you have to like do these dungeons to get like a helm, armor, and shield to complete the set, and a sword. Then you'll get access into heaven, basically. So you end up on this whole quest where you have to escort somebody up there and go up this tower. And then you find out, then this is when you get the full story. You find that there's a dragon up there, and he's the one that's kind of running everything up there, and he gives you the whole story about what Sario's doing. And then the Lord of the Underworld is awakening. They found him, and you got to go back down there, and then the hero kills the Lord of the Underworld, and which was foretold to happen. And after that, Sario came in too late and saw that the Lord of the Underworld was destroyed already. And so he goes about this whole thing where he looks for the armlet of transmutation, which is supposed to perfect evolution. And so basically he uses it to evolve into the new Lord of the Underworld. So it's like you have to go into this area that's kind of like I guess the equivalent of hell.
That's cool.
I think it's like Numeria or something like that. And you go down there and Don't quote me on it. And I'm not sure Michael's screaming at the screen because it's probably the wrong name for the area. But it's the final area of the game, which is their equivalency of hell, and you have to like go in there and beat Sario, the Manslayer, after he converts and he dies. And like before then, you find out that Rose is killed by the humans. They found out where she was, and so they went over there to claim her, and she died. And if you find out that some of the demons actually betrayed Sario and were the ones that told the humans where she was located. So it's like a lot of betrayal in the game towards the end. So like he doesn't know, he's still stuck on the humans trying to destroy everything. So when you beat the game, that's it. So I mean, she's dead and he dies. And that's the end of the game. So after that, so I mean, I think the difference in this one, on the DS remake, and I told Brant earlier, you weren't here for this, that this version of the game is probably I'm sure Michael's talked about it before. I think this version of the game is probably the worst one because out of the remakes, it doesn't have the party chat. The party chat was never translated for whatever reason from the Japanese version, and I think the party chat was translated in the Android version and the iOS version because the important part of that is like any major events that happen in the game, you use party chat so you can get some of the characterization from some of your characters in your team. They'll tell you what they were thinking at the time, like I can't believe this happened, or this is crazy this happened. It has more character depth.
Yeah, that seems way important.
That this one, which sucks because this one's more straightforward, kind of like the original NES version. So I guess that's why they were like, well, it's like the NES one. We'll just let it in there. So I think Dragon Quest 5 and 6 they fixed that problem. Their party chat was translated for those DS versions of the game. So yeah, after that, there's a 6th chapter that's exclusive to the DS. I'm not sure if it's on the iOS and Android versions. And this one's kind of like you get an extra dungeon, and at the dungeon, you're able to bring back those dead characters. So you're able to bring Rose back to life, and Sario the Manslayer, you can resurrect him and use him as on your team. I did not do this version because I think I got up to the very end where I got to the bosses, and they were bullshit. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I stopped the game. I was like, nope. I beat the original game. I'm not doing the extra dungeon shit because I think I probably had to spend another 5 hours leveling up 10 levels. I think they threw one boulder.
Watch it on YouTube.
Instantly killed. I already know what happens at the end. And instantly killed my team. And I was like, yep, I'm not doing this. Nope. It's like I'm not walking all the way back here to die again. So I was like, and it took forever. It's like me going through bullshit areas to get to them. I was like, I tried. I beat the fucking Dragon Quest game. So whatever.
There you go.
So after that, I think this is part of the, they called the Xanthurian trilogy. Mm-hmm. So the next one is the Dragon Quest 5. I popped that one in there, and I got like maybe 3 or 4 hours in that one. So that one you start out as a kid that it's like very reminiscent of like fucking Assassin's Creed 2, where like the new assassin was born as a baby, and then you go in like that was like that, where like your hero's born as a baby, and then it flash forwards like 6 years because it shows like the birthing scene, and like you're on some quest with your father, and you don't know what happened to your mother. Like it seems like she got sick at the end after she gave birth. So it's like you were in a castle. You had this dream like you were in a castle, and you wake up. You're like 6 years old. It's like, hey, then when you used to be in the castle, and the father's like, you're just dreaming about stuff. So apparently they've been traveling the world for like the last couple of years, and I'm assuming it has something to do with their mother, his mother, the hero's mother. And so like you run into these characters like that are going to be your wives, that potential wives later on in the game. Like there's 3 female characters that you marry at some point. And they become your wife, and because this game's about generations, there's 3 generational skips in here, which is similar to I think like Phantasy Star 4 did the same thing too, if I'm not mistaken. So like you start at certain ages, like one's up until like the teenage years, and then you skip up to like the 20s, and you skip up to your 30s. So like they kind of introduce you to like Bianca was one of them, and I forgot the names to the other 2. Like I said, I just started playing it on there. So like I said, I ended up going back to the original town he came from, and I think now they got me doing some kind of like bullshit where I'm going to like I always want to say Tricky Towers or something like that, Tower of Terror. I'm going like some kind of
sounds like a
tower
Fortnite
area
location.
where I can like exercise some ghosts so I can save some cheetah cat thing that's being abused.
I've seen that in the artwork.
Yeah, they're like we will. It's like we will give you this kitten if you go exercise. They give like an impossible task. Like we'll leave this kitten alone if you go exercise a ghost from the tower. So I'm like in the dead of night trying to find my way over there, and I think that's the part where I just like, all right, I'm done for this right now. So I'm like,
I think the cheetah ends up being part of the party. I've seen that artwork a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I think it's something that belongs to that character Bianca. I think she ends up taking as they grow older. That's my guess. So I don't know. I think you can officially put on my tombstone. I've beaten the Dragon Warrior game, and I've beaten the Dragon Quest game. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, look at that. Put on my tombstone. That's nothing else.
He
You
lived.
realize the guy beats Dragon War in a Dragon Quest
Press
game.
A to honor Cesar.
Yeah. Press B to party chat. That's what I had to do too. But I do get the party chat in 5, and I already notice the difference. So like every time something happens, I can talk to Bianca, and she'll be like, "Oh, I can't believe this happened," or that's crazy.
A cool feature.
They'll throw their input on there.
I love that in games. But, I love that in games.
But yeah, I don't know, man. At this point, I'm just more concerned about going through my backlog. So I think I'm gonna knock out as many Dragon Quest games as I can and just get this off my backlog list. I'm not sure, but somebody's told me there's 11 of them, and I think 10 of them I can play. That's the rumor. I'm not 100% certain if that's accurate or not, but we'll find out. It's on you, Brand.
The 11.
Take us home. Take us home, man. Let's go.
Well, first off, if you, Richard, on your Luigi's Mansion thing, if you get a chance to play with the entire family, try doing the multiplayer on Luigi's Mansion 3 with them. Okay. And have you and the missus and divide, the girls up, one with
it's four
you
players?
And one with Mama. Yeah.
Oh.
Because it does teams.
Okay.
And that way you guys can just play some fun little mini games.
We might give that a go. It's a good idea.
But say you don't want their experience with Luigi's Mansion to just be completely scared of it. And
they were scared. Daddy, you do it.
They're like, yeah.
Well, it's like, I guess it's creepy to us to play like a Resident Evil where you open the door, you don't know what's through there, but like the whole, and it's animated, so my wife was trying to tell him like, look, it's like a cartoon. But when Luigi's already scared, he's like, whoa, and then on the doorknob, and then he opens the door, and there's no lights, and they hear that sounded like a fucking horse. When they hear like, and they hear the ghosts in the room, and like shit starts shaking and all that, they're done. They're like, nope, you do it, Daddy. But we'll try that new one. The multiplayer sounds good. At least something for. Because I like how Luigi's Mansion, you're moving Luigi around with the control stick, they call it, and then you use the C stick for the flashlight and that kind of stuff. So I was hoping that would help them with the 2-stick type configuration, but I don't think we'll go back to it. We're gonna we might try the Switch one. It's a good idea.
Really, I mean, the only thing I've gotten a chance to play is I did start Metroid Fusion.
Nice. What are you playing that on?
Same as Zero Mission. This is the flash card, and Game Boy Player. Not having any problems right now, so I don't know.
Good deal.
It's that whole issue. It's just not rearing its ugly head. So this one is a little bit different than most of the other Metroids. The story, this one throws you in and gives you, a decent bit of story at the beginning where you're guiding some scientists through the planet that you've traversed several times, and then you encounter. You're like
marching them through. It's so funny looking. Come on, follow me. I'm Samus.
And then you encounter a life form you never have seen before, and then it turns out to be parasitic, and it starts taking over. And infecting you.
What they call it, like X or something like that?
Yeah, it's the X parasite. And they wind up having to surgically remove a bunch of your armor. And the only way that they could cure you was with they had some samples of the Metroid, and they created a vaccine in order to kill off that X parasite that was in you. And it worked, but your body has completely changed.
Yeah. It was like in order to keep her alive, it had to be infused with this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they couldn't take the suit off, remember?
Yeah.
They were trying to take the suit off, and it was grown to her body.
It's so funny. This game's so old, and it's the direct prequel to a game that we're gonna get in 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
Hey man, the DS1 was canceled. We all know what happened to it, so
But
finish the fight.
So in this one, you're not on a planet. After you've gone through your after you've recovered, you basically get a distress call.
Why'd you put quotations around recovered? You're like, recovered.
Oh, I mean, because it's just like everything happens really quickly. Yeah. So I mean, it's just like
you got to admit it's a GBA game. It gives you a good bit of story on that.
Yeah, it does. They've taken a character. They've taken Samus, who's looked the same since 1986, and they've made her look totally different. So she's recovered, but at what cost? So I think that's a good.
She recovered, and we got Metroid Other M.
Oh.
No, kill me again. Let me stay dead. Is that canon?
That's not official? I don't want to take over.
I don't think so.
I don't want to take over Brant's story, but I like how Jeff Grubb that's the one Zelda game, Metroid game that he's replaying is Other M. Out of all the Metroid games he can play, he's like, I'm going to play Other M.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lord. So anyway, you get this distress call from this research station, and you fly out there, and it turns out that they have a quarantine bay, and it's a scientific research facility, basically. And they keep all sorts of life forms and all sorts of different stuff, and it basically parts of your suit and other things they collected that were involved with this X-Parasite were in this quarantine bay, and there was an explosion. So you go down there.
All right. I don't want to interrupt you again, but Metroid Other M is official, and it takes place between Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion.
Brant, stop your playthrough. Stop your playthrough now.
Now I gotta go play Other M.
I'm looking on the website, and it's official.
I have to struggle through Other M.
It says it is part of the Metroid series and takes place between Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion.
So Dread is actually Metroid 6, or are they canceling it out of the canon?
Metroid Other M is 3.5.
So it's super.
I'm sorry, Brant, I had to clarify.
It's Super Metroid Other M.
Oh.
Yes.
You like that? You like that chaos?
Yes. Hey, it says on here Metroid Other M was re-released on the Wii U's Nintendo Wii Shop, which I didn't even know was on there. So.
How much?
$20 probably. I think all Wii games are $20 on the Wii Shop.
They just sold $60 worth of Metroid Other M. That's so stupid.
I mean, you could almost play all the Metroid games on that fucking Wii U.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what's not playable on there.
We had this discussion, didn't we? It's the original.
It's the Metroid Game Boy.
It's Metroid Game Boy. Yeah, Metroid 2.
Metroid 2. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, Brant, stop what you're doing. Don't even talk about this game. You gotta go fire up.
You're off on the lore.
No, I'm good.
You're twisted.
You'll never know how Samus executes the lethal strike on Galmanian. I'm looking at the gameplay right now.
Stop. Sorry.
Oh, but anyway.
Anyway, how do you recover from that,
Brant? You find out the damn parasites are all over this facility, and there's 6 different sectors, and you're going to investigate because this computer that you interact with, which it looks like they're bringing that back in Dread, is there's like a kind of like a hub computer that you get some direction from. Kind of gives you information about what you need to do, where you need to go. This seems to be one of the biggest changes is you interact with this AI, and it basically gives you direction. Whereas the other Metroid games, you just kind of explore, and you go until you go, oh, well, I can't go any more farther this way. I guess I need to go the other way. This one will actually give you like a point of direction and tell you kind of what your overall objective is.
I like that. A lot of people didn't with this game. What do you think? Because you're just coming off of Super Metroid.
I think it's different. I don't think it's bad. Yeah. I mean, I don't dislike it. I don't think it's, hand holding, because it basically just goes, this is your objective. This is what you need to do. You still have this whole area you can go through and explore.
It doesn't get in the way.
So it doesn't get in the way, and it doesn't really take away anything from the overall experience. So as you're going to these sectors, you find out very quickly early in the game that there's a copy of you, because this whole parasite can basically mimic other life forms. So now there is this what they call the SAX. Is basically called SAX, which is this different version of you that has
SAX, like sax, like saxophone.
SA-X.
Okay, I just heard saxophone. I was like, saxophone. SA-X.
This is yeah. This is Saxy Samus.
There we go. That's content we paid for.
Let's talk about sax, baby.
So
I was trying to give the next lines of the song, but I can't remember.
Let's talk about you
and me.
I still don't know. I haven't heard that song.
No. So this different version of
all the good things, Samus. All the bad things. What was I can't remember it now. Fuck. All right, sorry, Brent. He started.
This basically Dark Samus is following you around, stalking you.
I love that.
It's pronounced Sumas. It's pronounced Sumas. The Dark Samus is
Sumas.
I love that. I hope that's a big part of. I think they're leaning into that. We've seen with Dread is those the Emmy thing, like stalking you through the certain zones.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's like freaking. It was like a mobile version of Gladys from.
Yeah.
Portal. Every time I look at it, it's like, oh, guys, the thing from Portal. It's going to ask me about birthday cake.
It definitely has a specific design flow to it, almost like something Apple would have designed and come after you. But I definitely hope the Dark Samus or the X Parasite thing makes an appearance. Go ahead, Brent.
Samus.
But it's you get a good bit of story with this game. The lore with Metroid, the games, there's not too much that goes along with it. You get like kind of a bit at the beginning and kind of a bit at the end, and you're basically implying what you see, what the actions you take. In this one, you're given a good bit of dialogue in between different things and at different points and interacting with this AI. And I've gotten to the point where it seems like there's something else that it's going on, but behind the scenes,
right? Something's not right.
Yeah, something isn't right about this whole situation. And I've gone through each individual sector at least once. Before I got on the podcast, I did get out of the last sector, and now there's like some big malfunction in one of the other sectors, and everything's timed, and it could trigger some big explosion. And I started seeing this, and I was like, it was literally almost 8 o'clock.
I'm about to be busy.
So I was like, this is later. This is a later thing.
Good.
I'm not doing this right now.
Pacing. It's not handholdy, but the way it sends you from one place to the next is not like it is in the games that you've played, but it propels the story forward in a way that makes visiting those places and being pushed in that direction way more compelling than just like a handholdy type scenario.
And that's the thing is I've enjoying this. I really like the overall design, the layout, the pacing, the sprites. Everything looks so good. And to think this was a GBA game, I mean, it's mind blowing. Even the little cutscene animations that happen, everything's so good, and I actually stayed away. I wanted to look up something on it, but I kind of stayed away because I remembered there being some controversy. And what was the huge controversy with this game? Because I know some people just absolutely hated it, Metroid fans wise. And was it mostly because it was a little bit more directional, like it's a little bit more linear? Is it the whole like giving you directions thing? Was that the biggest thing with that?
You got to remember, you got to remember, like a lot of people didn't play Final Fantasy 13 yet, so after that, people just stopped their.
Everything got a pass after that. It was the X parasite thing tied to your suit. It was the different suit. It was the computer giving you directions, and this is happening here. And
would you call it a Zuzu riot?
And what do people think now? How is it viewed upon now? And it's just, I think, and it seems strange that a Metroid game would be frowned upon, and I don't think it was panned at that point. But Nintendo was not in a high point in this era. This was not, as far as like public perception and things like that. So,
yeah.
And I was working retail specifically right after this era, and like GameCube and Game Boy Advance, they were just kiddie things. They were toys. It wasn't real games. It wasn't PSP or PS2 or Xbox. It wasn't online shooters, and it just didn't fit in that. It was like, okay, this is great for that type of game, but everyone grew up, I guess is the better term, or art design stayed true longer. It's just like Wind Waker. Wind Waker was this pariah on the Zelda series and the GameCube and everything else, and it's look at the way the public perception has twisted on that. People hated that game. They hated the art.
Yeah, but remember the demo they had with the Zelda game originally on GameCube was like more of a live action.
Go back and look at that.
Like,
Go back and look at that. Yeah. That looks like shit. When you look at that Link and that Ganon, it looks like garbage. It's like a.
But that was the biggest argument. Remember, it's like you did that and you made this 2D cell shaded. That's
yes.
Nobody played the game. They just looked at it immediately.
Thank you, fuckers. You got us Twilight Princess, which I cannot bring myself to finish.
I beat it. I did.
Yeah, you got through it.
I like Twilight.
Some Princess. Of the dungeons overstayed its welcome, but it did it. I did
Brand,
the thing.
It was such a response, though. It was just like this, and I know that E3 where they announced it and they showed him like it wasn't the Wii mode at that point, but you were like hitting people on both sides of the horse and all that kind of stuff. And Miyamoto came out with the sword and all that. That was kind of when they started reversing their fortunes headed into Wii and DS and that kind of stuff. But that GBA era, GameCube era that we look back and it's like, okay, we got some great experiences out of both of these consoles. They were not as popular at the time, and they weren't flying off the shelf like things were on other platforms. It was just frowned upon, and they leaned so much into the connectivity, and their online was Nintendo Online still hasn't improved. I'm not gonna say they hadn't figured out online play yet, because I don't think they still have, but that was a weird Nintendo. It was almost, you had to be a fanboy or someone who was a huge fan of these franchises to see this through. This was not the casual, I won't even say casual gamer. This wasn't the person who can appreciate good games latching onto GameCube out of no other reason outside of nostalgia or, reverence for these franchises. It was weird, man. It was a weird time. People thought Nintendo was going under and they're going away and all this kind of stuff. So Metroid Fusion's is in a weird place in time for that company and that franchise.
Well, I mean, I know that Fusion and Zero Mission kind of really, and in essence, kind of the Game Boy player came along because they were doing that other work with bringing out Metroid Prime with a studio that hadn't proved themselves before, and they kind of didn't really have faith in it because of the rocky start and the debacle with everybody's favorite Jeff Spankenberg.
Yep.
And
they were nervous about there being a Western first-person shooter Metroid.
Yeah. So they wanted a more classic Metroid game, and they thought, if it does really well, and make a Game Boy player for our system,
yep,
slap it on there, and then they can play it on the TV if they really want to. And then it went the opposite. Metroid Prime did so well, and really the GBA games, like you said, it just kind of was like people looked at it as, oh well, that's the handheld, that's the kiddie thing, that's It's for
now
kids. It's not,
They're $100-something a piece.
Yeah. Oh, golly.
Now look at us.
But no.
And we got the Prime.
We're here.
We got the Prime trilogy.
Who
would have thought?
To the end of the episode.
So what are you thinking about it? You just played a couple of these other 2D Metroids. Is it high up there?
I like it. I really do. I think it's really, really good.
I felt the same way. I got that and Metroid Prime for Christmas. I got both of them at the same time. And I was just like, oh my god, yes, what a time to be alive. Yes.
My main issue with it is some of the music is not as good as some of the other entries, but that is about it. There's a few things that I'm just like, it does have some good music in some areas, but otherwise I'm just like, I don't like the way, when you load in and you get the da na 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 na. The one for Fusion, it's like a different key. It's like a lower key, and it doesn't even sound right. The way,
like an imitation. Like you're like, this is close. You tried, but it's not.
Yeah,
I feel that.
But overall, it's like I said, everything from the sprites to the pacing to everything about this game. It's really good.
That's a good ass.
There was a reason why people wanted more 2D Metroid, man. They never lost the touch.
But that was it. That was the last one.
Yeah.
That was the last one we got until that Mercury Steam one.
They were more concerned about giving us Federations. With the mini games or whatever the hell that thing was about, that you don't play SMS at all.
Does anybody own that Metroid Federation Force?
I was trying to look and see if I did.
I don't think I ever bought it either. Watch it end up being some crazy expensive game.
I guess I see. That's crazy.
You bought it?
I don't think so. It's probably gonna be impossible to own now.
Will it be more or less expensive than Zero Mission and Fusion?
Prime Federation Force.
What's it going for, Brant? $5. Get us all a copy.
Let's see.
Complete the Metroid collection. We must have it. Remember, they spent
32 on Amazon.
They spent a whole E3 on that shit.
23 used on eBay.
Expensive.
Walmart push button entertainment. $31.99. $39.39. Best Buy, GameStop.
What's GameStop having for?
$39.
Oh God.
Play Asia has it for $29.
There we go. Path to victory.
That might be the right. I don't think I have it. I don't see it. So.
I don't think I've ever bought it. That should have been a Five Below candidate. How come none of us ever got it at Five Below?
But yeah, hopefully I finish this game up pretty quickly. I think I just got the freeze missile. I get why they did it, because your body was susceptible to cold. That's the whole thing with this. The vaccine you took is, Metroid based, and they're susceptible to cold, so your body was susceptible. You had to get your suit back in order to even have any kind of extreme temperatures to be around any.
I don't feel like looking at that anymore.
And so you don't have the freeze
it's not
beam,
worth it.
But
it's gonna be disappointed either way.
I think I'm going after the wave beam next, I believe. And
freeze beam's always a good thing in Metroid because it opens up places you couldn't jump to. Like if you didn't get the double jump yet, it opens up. All right, if I freeze this person here, I could probably make that next cliff.
But now having it tied to the missiles is, it's not like you ever run out of missiles, but having to use your missiles for freezing as well as destroying certain enemies that can only be destroyed with missiles is, I don't know. I thought it was kind of an odd choice. Oh, but yeah, that's Metroid Fusion so far.
It's a classic. Is that it for you, Brant? That's all you played?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, I'm looking, and I think the most expensive thing I got 3DS wise is that damn Fire Emblem Fates Special Edition. I got 2 copies of those.
Oh, there's that. All right, y'all got anything else to add before we get out of here?
Nope.
I was waiting to add, like, I found it, but I don't see it.
I found Metroid Prime Federation Force balls.
Yes, let's fire it up. I was looking at the Metroid Other M. I was like, it does take place between those 2 games.
You're gonna play it. You're gonna try it out.
No.
Well, let's all give it a shot. Let's all give it a shot and talk about it next week.
I'll give it a whirl. Yeah, I've never played it before. I own it.
Sure.
I think when I looked into it, there's a stage in Dead or Alive Dimensions for the 3DS that is from the Metroid Other M.
Ridley flies. Like, okay. Ridley flies through there and all that. Yeah.
I think Samus helps you out, but she's only like an assist character in that stage. So yeah.
Yep.
I was like, oh, I put like 20 hours in that fucking game. I don't remember that at all, but whatever. So.
Into Dead or Alive Dimensions?
I love Dead or Alive Dimensions. Yeah, I love Dead or Alive. Yeah.
All right, then there's that.
You know how I feel about fighting games. I own every King of Fighters. That's not on a Neo Geo system that's affordable to me. So.
Buy the tape deck, Neo Geo games.
I literally, I think, here we go. This came in yesterday.
King of Fighters. Which one is that?
The Orochi Saga, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98.
Oh, the 90s. Good era.
Every King of Fighters. 97.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Global match.
Thank you for joining us this week, and we'll catch you next week. Goodbye.
Adios.
Y'all always do that. I don't know how you do it. Now I go to edit, and I'm like, all right,